BGMC. The biblical truth lives here.
The ancient Hebrew scriptures foretold of the Anointed One, Yeshua HaMashiach. The Messiah Yeshua came to call the people back to the truth of His word and to follow that righteous path. Yeshua then called Jewish men to be His disciples, and after His death and resurrection, those Jewish men told the world about the Jewish Messiah. Now, after 2,000 years, Beth Goyim Messianic Congregation has that same calling of those Jewish men, telling all people, both Jew and Gentile, about the proper ancient path, teaching the Route 66 King's Highway from Genesis through to Revelation, and how you need and can get back to the proper roots of the faith and a closer walk with God. Now, let's hear the message.
Shalom. Let me introduce myself first so you know who I am. It's kind of hard, I'm used to doing two languages. I'm the Messianic Rabbi from Beth Goyim Messianic Congregation. Well, my translator's in the back. We can do Ivrit, we could do Espanol. I'm a completed Jew. I come from the tribe of Benjamin, from the bloodline of Benjamin. I've had Beth Goyim Messianic Congregation now almost 11 years. I'm the founder of the congregation. The Lord, in His infinite joking wisdom, sent a Jew who doesn't speak Spanish to a Spanish area to teach the Latinos, who are mostly Jewish from the Inquisition, the Hebrew roots of our faith, to follow Torah, to follow and believe Yeshua our Mashiach. Okay? I started my life out in production. I've made movies. I made Sandra Bullock's first movie. I was the first assistant director on that. I've worked with some of the biggest artists, you name it. I've won awards at the Cannes Film Festival for sound in 1985. I then got burnt out. My wife said, come home or don't, because I was away for quite some time doing a lot of different stuff. And I got into medicine. I was a paramedic. I worked in many different hospitals. I've been worked in the city of Newark, Orange, East Orange, Irvington, working nights, a Jew at night in a black neighborhood. There's a joke for you right there. Wearing a bulletproof vest. The Lord called me to do His work, and I want to show you a little bit. What we do at our congregation is we go through the news of what's going on. I'm going to skip a little forward to certain news, why we're doing this class, okay? You can always check out our news boards every Wednesday. The news goes up. We do about a half hour of news, prophecy news, and then a prophecy from the scriptures, and then the news article of what happened. This is very important for all of us. In Devarim 28, verse 22, Jehovah said, I will strike you down with wasting disease, fever, inflammation, fiery heat, drought, blasting winds, mildew, and they will pursue you until you perish. Also in the book of Revelation, chapter 6, verse 8, I looked, and there in front of me was a pallid, sickly-looking horse. Its rider's name was Death, and Sheol followed behind him. They were given authority to kill 1/4 of the world by war, famine, by plagues, and with wild animals. This virus came to America yesterday. The Ebola virus is extraordinarily contagious, okay? If you catch it, you will die. 90% of the people that get this disease will die from exactly what you saw in Devarim 28, okay? You will die from inflammation. You will die a very painful, slow death. It takes approximately 2 weeks, okay? Things that are going to save you are what we're going to see in the scriptures. God gave us, Jehovah gave us, an incredible book. The book that He gave us is Torah, along with the rest of Tanakh and the Brit Hadashah. In the Torah, there are medicines found, okay? Every time when you went to the Beit HaMikdash, or the temple, they had incense burning. Why did they have those incense burning? Because they are medicines, okay? You are going to see that. And the candles over here, what we have the essence of these medicines in it. What we're going to talk about is in this, we get these from Israel through Abba Oil, a wonderful organization. I know both the owners of them. What happens is when you burn these, this particular one is spikenard. If you are in pain, we're going to go through each of these though. If you're in pain, what happens is you breathe it in through your respiratory system. You go like that, it gets into there, then gets into your circulatory system from your lungs. Okay? The medicine then goes throughout your body, making you healthy. Okay? If you had an upper respiratory system infection, okay? You breathe it in. This is myrrh. It's a straight myrrh. What my future daughter-in-law, she is a chemist. She works for, unfortunately, LabCorp. Okay? They stink. Okay? But we did a study on the soil of Israel, okay? Comparatively speaking to the rest of the world. The soil there that Jehovah gave to our people is drastically different than any other place on the planet. These oils that we get from Abba Oil, the essence come from Israel. They are brought to the great country of Texas and then put in through a virgin olive oil that is also grown in Israel. Okay? The reason that we're talking about it is because Patrick Sawyer, this doctor from America, he was in Africa. And I've been in Africa. Let's just say their infrastructure is not very good. The manner of which people live is real different than the way we live, okay? So medicines and viruses transmit very simply, okay? This American doctor, Patrick Sawyer, who was 40, prior to him dying, he had gone to 5 different airports. The Ebola virus transmits through body fluids and through the air, okay? What happens is you sweat. I've been in Africa in the summertime. Let's just say it's hot. Okay, I was standing on the equator in July in Africa. I was baking. I was a cooked Jew. Okay? Okay, and you sweat until you don't sweat no more. Okay? So Sawyer went from place to place. When you sweat out this virus. It stays on a seat. Okay? Since we are not following Jehovah's commandments, and America is very disgusting in God's eyes, this virus has been brought to us, but also in the world. This virus is going to outbreak rapidly. Whether or not you want to believe it, it's between you and God. What I'm here to give you is God's medicines. Okay? They work. We've had testimonies of people from our congregation. They had unbelieving family members. They went up to Massachusetts to pray with them. The person had lesions on their brain. They were going for surgery to remove some of the lesions of their brain. That night before, prior to it, they went up there and prayed. And they put pomegranate oil on the person's head. Right before the surgery, they went down to the CT scan to get a scan of the brain prior to the surgery so that the surgeon could have the most recent information. They were astounded at what they found. All the lesions were gone. Amen. He gave us these things in Torah. You ever think why? Well, why do we put the leper outside of the camp? Why do we do these different things? Why do you find that in Torah? It's because it's an infection that we're separating. Some infections last only a little while, such as HIV. HIV will last outside of the body approximately an hour, if that. Okay? It only goes 2 degrees difference. Once it goes past the 2 degrees, the virus dies. Unlike hepatitis C. I spit on the ground, I have hepatitis C. It'll last on the ground no matter what temperature, pretty much, for 72 hours. Ebola is very much like that. In this next slide, I give you some of the way it's transmitted. It is very interesting how it is transmitted. It is, and what it does. The signs and symptoms of Ebola. It's a viral illness characterized by the sudden onset of fever, intense weakness, muscle pain, headache, and sore throat. Don't! Wait, that's what Jehovah said right there in Deuteronomy 28:22. The exact same symptoms is what he's bringing with this virus that is now will go pandemic in the world very, very shortly. They brought it to Atlanta yesterday. The person landed. Nobody really knows how this is really transmitted, but every time you can breathe it in, you can touch it, and there you go, you're gone. Now the other part of the viruses that are going on is, there you see them trying to wash things down. You see they have respirators on. So it is an airborne disease. And the person there is in Atlanta. The other thing that's going on around the globe, especially in China, is the bubonic plague. Okay? They cordoned off 100,000 people last week, and this week they cordoned off 30,000 people. How is that transmitted? Fleas. Okay? And the animals have a tremendous amount of fleas. In the Dark Ages, in the 14th century, how did people survive the Black Plague? Frankincense and myrrh. It'll kill the virus. It'll kill the virus. Also, when the dead bodies are decomposing, that's why they burn them, but you can still breathe it in. You put the frankincense and myrrh on your face. This is why one of the other reasons we have this ridiculously long beard. Okay? It protects you against viruses. The mustache protects you against viruses because it'll block things going up into the men's nose. Okay? All right? So let's get in a little bit of the study. There's many other viruses going on around the globe, but this is what we do each week. We inform you. You can go to our website, bethgoyim.org. That's bethgoyim.org. On the head page, every Monday, late Monday, the news that I do at the congregation will be up there so you can watch it. Okay, the healing oils, I forgot to bring, I have a PDR at my house. The physician desk reference is about that thick, okay? All medicines that man makes they have contraindications. You're taking one medicine for one disease, you're actually getting another disease from it, okay? It's wearing out some part of your body. With God's oils, all these oils that you see up here, all these oils in this package here, there are no, and I repeat, no contraindications. Nobody has died from taking essential oil, okay? Hyssop, how many people like Italian food? Driving here, we saw a lot of Italian restaurants, okay? So, what is basil? Oh, it's like hyssop. You eat it. Most of these are weeds, okay, that grow along the side of the road. Jehovah knew that he'd put medicines all over the planet. The myrrh comes from a tree that you're going to see. It's a little bit different. The pomegranate comes from a pomegranate, okay? Well, we'll go through a bunch of different of these, actually all of them. In slide number 1 here, the essential oils provided with the essential oil properties, these profiles, they're here to draw you closer. First and foremost, we pray. And that's what we should do. We're going to start this right now with prayer because this is all to glorify the kingdom of our God. So let's pray. Avinu Malkeinu, our Father, our King, we come before you today with thanksgiving because you provided medicines for us. You provided everything for us. And what can we do than other to say, Todah Rabbah. Thank you very much for everything that you've done for us. Thank you, Yeshua, for climbing that hill. Thank you for paying our prices. Adam failed, you succeeded. So we put our trust in you. And we thank you for everything that you're going to do here today. And most of all, we just want to give you honor and praise and glory, Yeshua, for doing what you did. In your name, Yeshua. Amen. Okay, before you take any of these oils, you always pray, okay? That's the first and foremost thing, because we have a Jehovah Rapha. Okay, we have a Lord who is our healer. Okay, going on in slide number 3, if you'd like to turn in your scriptures to Ezekiel 47, please. You're going to have a lot of scriptures in this because everything is part of God's Word. Ezekiel 47, verse 12. Ezekiel 47, verse 12. I find that a lot of people like to underline things in their scriptures and like to read it for themselves. I put just the passage. Sometimes I always tell people, read the whole chapter. But for this particular study, what we're doing is focusing on certain things. In Ezekiel 47, verse 12, on both riverbanks will grow all kinds of trees for food. Their leaves will not dry up, nor will their fruit fail. There will be a different kind of fruit each month because the water flows from the sanctuary, so that this fruit will be edible, and the leaves will have healing properties. Amen? In the leaves that God has on many different trees, many different plants, found in it is the oil of the essence, okay? And once you grab all this essence, you will have a medicine. My future daughter-in-law, her mother, she knows how to extract the oil from the leaves, okay? It's a skill that one has to learn, and God forbid that the world does go crazy, as we do see in Revelation, and we do see the hatred of Israel around the globe, and we do see anti-Semitism higher than it was prior to World War II. We better get ourselves ready, okay? Learning how to extract medicines, because you know what? Novartis ain't going to be there. Pfizer ain't going to be there. None of these people are going to be there, but you know what? That little leaf, that's going to be there. And inside that little leaf, because Jehovah showed it to Ezekiel in chapter 47, there is medicine located in the leaf. Once you understand how to extract it, once you understand what purpose it's for, once you understand what virus you're having, okay? That's also, because you're going to see different things between hyssop and cassia. They work differently. These are medicines, and also sometimes you have to combine different medicines. So you're going to have to learn, get a good old Boy Scout manual before they went gay. Okay, we stand for the scriptures, okay? I stand with the Lord's word in chapter 18 of Leviticus, verse 22. God said it's an abomination. I agree with him because I love him, okay? The leaves will have healing properties. You're going to find this, and my daughter-in-law, who's a chemist, did prove this via science, that there is something drastically different with these certain leaves that we see in Torah that we're burning at the Beit HaMikdash, okay? And the other part about it is that in Israel there is a drastic difference. Okay, we're living in America, world goes crazy, we can't go to Novartis to go get our drugs. What do? Okay, well, we're going to need more of the essence. Okay, going on to the next slide. If you want to turn to Revelation 22, this is also the fulfillment of what we see that in Revelation 22. Between the main street and the river was a tree of life producing 12 kinds of fruit, a different kind every month, and the leaves of the trees were for healing the nations, the goyim, the nations. Okay? So once again, this is a fulfillment of what we see from the Ezekiel scripture. But there is two witnesses. Okay? We have the Ezekiel scripture, we have the Revelation scripture, two witnesses that Jehovah has done something with every single plant. We just have to know how to use it and for what purpose it is. But first and foremost, you pray. Okay? Before you put it on yourself, you pray. You thank heaven for sending this stuff. Because if you don't thank him, he ain't going to help you. Okay? He's willing to help. He's willing to do. But you know what? You get a lot more things with honey than you do with vinegar. Okay? And he is most gracious. So here, what is with these leaves? What is with these trees? Where do I get it? What do I look for? How is a good leaf? What is a bad leaf? How do I get this stuff out? It's all these different things that we're going to learn. But the first step is I got to learn, well, okay, I got a cold. I got this common cold, or I may have Ebola. What do? You know how you would save this person right now with Ebola? There's two oils, hyssop and cassia. You need both of those oils, and that person will live. You put the cassia essence from Israel in a 0.9 saline bag at 1,000 drip, that person's going to be fine. But Novartis doesn't want that. Pfizer doesn't want that because there ain't no money in that. Okay? Going on to the next slide. Plagues, as we read about earlier, that is a picture of the bubonic plague. The flea climbs up your leg. Okay? And remember, fleas can jump about 10 feet. They're one of the strongest animals on the planet. So it comes from a rat, it comes from a mouse, it comes from a cat. You know, in China, there's dogs. You know, that's how you get Chinese food. Okay? Or cats. Okay? Unless you're going to a kosher Chinese place. Okay? So what it does, they make thousands and thousands of these things that are sucking the blood from the rat that has the infection. It then climbs up your leg. It goes to what's called your femoral artery. In your leg right here, going down either side. In the middle is the largest artery in your body, okay? It's called a femoral artery. If this ever gets cut, you know, you got to clamp it off. You got to take a belt, and I've had to do it while working on the ambulance, okay? Cutting that circulation off because it's better to lose the leg than lose your life, okay? So what it does is it sucks into that artery, it burrows into the skin, and it gives you the virus. Now the thing is, well, how do I get rid of the virus? And you know, we have people with cancer and things like that, and there's always these contraindications with cancer. With pomegranate, and you got cancer, we've had people with tumors, gone. And they didn't feel sick, and they didn't have to go through that. So here, the bubonic plague, the person gets the bite, they'll start to feel feverish, they'll start to feel weak, they'll start to have all these other symptoms, basically of a general cold. And then all of a sudden, once you realize that you see these things, what happens is the circulation will stop. You'll get gangrenous extremities. They'll turn black, okay? And what is so beautiful about the disease is God is taking you apart slowly so you can repent, because there is a life after this place, okay? And there's smoking and non-smoking. Okay? Okay, what happened, and the bubonic plague has actually been outbreaking throughout the world since 2012, okay? It was in Peru last year, and here's from Madagascar. And anybody who has children, you've seen the movie Madagascar, okay? And they had 20 people that died, but the key is, how did they die? Well, they died from the plague. Why did they die? Well, there was a rat that had a bunch of fleas. And you can't find those fleas because they're small, okay? So the other thing is putting the oils on your bodies, because there is the essence that the animal does not like either. And in Ezekiel 28, verse 23, if you want to turn there again. Ezekiel 28, verse 23. Little, things about what's going on in the world prior to getting into how important the oils are. Ezekiel 28, verse 23. If I'm going too fast, stop me. Because like I said, and if you got questions, don't hesitate to ask. Okay? Yes, sir.
Unlike the medicines that the world gives you, these won't build up an immunity or anything of that nature where you have to worry about ODing on them or getting anything of that nature.
I love pasta, and the more hyssop and basil you put on it, No.
That's what I'm thinking. If God would do that, but if you want to do like a preventative thing, maybe once a week or once a month or something.
Absolutely. Especially if you're doing mass transportation. Especially in the winter where people got colds and things like that. Before you go out, you put it on your face. Before you go and you're going shopping in the supermarket, there's a lot of colds going around. Put the we'll get to it, but you put the frankincense and myrrh right on your face. It'll also help your skin, and no, you can't OD on God's oils because they're all natural. There's no contraindications of any of them. Okay? In Ezekiel 28, verse 23, for I will send plagues into her. Okay? Into, meaning you're going to get some things inside of your body. How do we get cancer? Nobody knows really, truly 100% how you get cancer. If you smoke, you're most likely going to get some form of cancer, such as my mother, my sister, and my mother-in-law all dying from bladder-type cancers because they were all heavy smokers, because your body has a filtering system, and you got to put out that tar and nicotine some way. It goes through your kidneys and your bladder, and then most people die from a bladder cancer, which is extraordinarily painful. So if you're smoking, stop, because God will heal your body. So here, the Chinese study, a lot of American medicine doesn't want to look at other nations and their studies because there's no money in it. Most American, I worked for Novartis for a number of years. In their corporate headquarters, I sat in the boardroom. Everything was, how much money is it going to make us? How much money do we have to spend in research? What do we bury in research? I can't go into it in certain areas because I was bonded, okay? But let's just say it ain't about health. It ain't. So the Chinese study here with the pomegranate, what they found, having pomegranate, why was it on the high priest, the Kohen Hagadol's outfit? Why was it on his garments? Why was it there? What's it telling us, okay? Why is it when you cut a pomegranate in half, it looks like a heart? Well, and when it comes to 613 seeds, my son Tristan counted it, there were more. Okay, so what happens is they found that in taking this pomegranate juice and pomegranate oils, okay, they found that it killed breast cancer. Killed. Stopped it totally. Okay? So what we're seeing here is what we will get into it. We'll get into all the different avenues of what the studies show. Moving on to the next slide. Deuteronomy 28, verse 34. Good afternoon. Deuteronomy 28, verse 34. I highly recommend everybody reading Devarim 28, because what's going on around the world is step by step, by step, by step, all these plagues are happening. Deuteronomy 28, verse 34. And my wife, Rebbetzin Kelly, she was also a director of nursing for many years. She was a rehabilitation nurse for 25 to 30 years. Okay, she was a director of nursing. Okay, she just read a study that dementia is skyrocketing. Okay, one of the things that we will get into a little bit later: pomegranate oil on your head. If you have any signs and symptoms, you have an elder parent that has some sort of symptom, start putting the pomegranate on the brain, because what happens for dementia is plaques on your brain, the little black marks. What happens is between the two sides of the brain, things aren't talking with each other anymore. Things are getting killed. What happens is if you put the pomegranate oil on it, the pomegranate oil resets your hard drive. Each cell has 1 billion bits of information in the cell. And what the pomegranate oil does is takes it from that wonderful blue screen. We've all had that wonderful blue screen on our computer, right? You're like, you turn it on, why is my computer doing that? Okay? Well, what it does is your cell, when it's got cancerous or you're having the dementia, the cell has gone bad. It's corrupt. By putting the pomegranate oil on the cell, on the brain, it cuts down tremendously the effects of the dementia, and it will reverse it. But Pfizer doesn't want you to know that information. Okay? So dementia, what we're seeing in the Alzheimer's Disease International showed a 17% increase. Why? Because the farther we walk away from Jehovah's laws, yes, I'm a legalistic person, yes. God's laws, they're good. I like them. He gave them. I'm not going to argue with the judge, okay? He said, do this, I'm doing it. Don't eat the pig. Why? I don't need to know. Because God said so. It's that simple. He's dad, I'm his kid. I don't want to smack. Okay? So what's happening, he said in Devarim 28, verse 34, because you're not following my ways, because you kicked me out of your schools, because you kicked me out of your government, because you kicked me out of your house, you know what? I'm going to take your mind. So 17%, and this was last year's numbers, okay? 17% increase in dementia. Why? Because he said so. You don't want me there? Verse 34 says, you're going to go crazy. You're going to go crazy. And we just had the bridal shower for my future daughter-in-law. And one of my wife's best friends from when she was a kid, her father is suffering from dementia. And how old is he? He's yet not 60. He's right at 60. 60 years old. And the thing about that is it takes you down slow. Slow. Why? Because God is merciful. Chesed, mercy. He wants you repenting before you don't know who you are. He wants you at His house later on. You have to pay the price for disobedience, but I'd rather pay a little price now than pay it later in the smoking section. Okay? He says if you don't do this, so what you're seeing is an increase in all the viruses around the globe. A 500% increase in infections in the hospitals that are not treatable. That was last week's news. 500% increase. Going on to the next slide. Revelation 6, verse 8. Revelation 6, verse 8. As you see, we're going from both sides of the Scripture. That's what we do at Beth Goyim. We start in Torah or Tanakh, and we show you how it's a fulfillment in the Brit Hadashah. It is one book. It is a Jewish book. From Genesis through to Revelation, all Jewish, all keeping Torah because it's good. Revelation 6:8. I looked, and there in front of me was a pale, sickly-looking horse. Its rider's name was Death, and Sheol, hell, followed behind him. They were given authority to kill 1/4 of the world by war, famine, and plagues, and with the wild animals on the earth. Let's start with the wild animals. There has been a lot of attacks lately throughout the United States of the wild animals. Just packs of dogs, packs of wolves out in the West Coast, the Idaho area, Washington area, just coming and killing for no reason whatsoever. Normally they would kill to eat, but they're not. They're just killing for the fun of it. Okay? So what's happening here is also the wars and famine and plagues. We've all heard about the H7N9 bird flu virus. Okay? Hundreds of thousands, even into the millions of chickens having to be killed because of the bird flu. Okay? You can capture it. Why? It's airborne. You don't need to eat the chicken. You just need to be around it. And you breathe it in, goes into your respiratory system, comes out of your lungs into your respiratory system, into your circulatory system, and there you are. You will be getting fevers, viruses, and everything else, vomiting your brains out. Okay? Until you can't do it, and if you don't have a hospital system, because we all know that Obamacare is wonderful. As I say it tongue-in-cheek. Okay? The hospital systems are being torn apart because, like when I used to work in it, there were hospitals pretty much every 10 miles. Now they're not, and they don't have the infrastructure anymore. So what happens is when you start getting these viruses, you will get dehydrated, you will get sick, and you will not be able to recover unless you have these oils. You know, we had a virus run through the congregation. One time I forgot to light the candles. As a Cohen, I can light the candles. I can light a fire on Shabbat because I'm the Cohen. Okay? So I forgot to light them one week. The hyssop and the frankincense and myrrh burning in the congregation. Everybody got sick that next week. And even my two sons got this virus, and it was running through your digestional system, the GI system. Everybody else had it for almost an entire week. We had it for 3 days. Why? Because we had the cassia rubbing it on the intestines, and it killed the virus because it will seep through your skin right into the affected area. The H7N9 bird flu has arrived. It comes in through your nose, goes into your body. How do you block that? We will get into it. Frankincense and myrrh on your nose before you leave the house. It smells good too, and tastes pretty good. Moving on to this, slide number 9. There are 1,035 references of the oils in the Bible. 1,035 times. We base our lives on one scripture, John Yochanan 3, being born again. You got to be born again. How am I going to be born again? Going into my mother's womb. What are you saying, Yeshua? We base our lives on that. So when Jehovah talks about something 120 times, such as Shabbat in the Bible, don't you think it's kind of important to him? 120 times in the whole of that in the CJB, 78 times in the Tanakh, okay, in the CJB. You think it's pretty daggone important? Absolutely. Now he's talking about something 1,035 times. Hello, McFly, are you awake? Okay, you'll have a lot of 1970s and 80 movies references in the presentation because, yes, I'm an idiot. Okay. Marty, 1,035 times. What's a gigawatt? No, so anyway. When he says something that many times, take notice, everybody. When you see the Pharisees and the Brit Hadashah making a big stink about something, stop, read it 3 times because there's something more for you to learn. So if Jehovah's telling us something 1,035 times, it's something really, really, really important. You know, because maybe if you miss it the first 1,000 times, there's another 35 to go. Okay? And there are 33 different oils in the scriptures. We will not go through all of them. We're just going to go through the primary ones, such as frankincense. Okay? What did they bring to Mashiach when he was a baby, around 3 years old? Frankincense and myrrh. Okay? Rosemary, hyssop. Okay? There are different varieties of this. The interesting thing about the hyssop, God is taking it away worldwide. It is very, very, very difficult to find now and very difficult to grow. The seeds are being taken away because Jehovah said so. We do have a congregant member, a man I just raised up into the rabbinicship last week. He is going to begin to grow it on his farm in the Carolinas. Okay? Because it is a specific one that you do have to grow, because we used to have a house and it'll grow. It'll get bigger and bigger and bigger. Basically, you pick the leaves off and then you put them in your convection oven, dry them out, and then you can make a hyssop tea. Okay? Rosemary, hyssop, spikenard were used in the anointing oils of the sick. Spikenard, you're going to find, is a pain reliever. Okay? We have a surgeon that comes to the congregation. He's in surgery generally 10 to 14 hours, maybe sometimes 18 hours. He's got some bad knees. So prior to him going into surgery, what does he do? Takes the spikenard, rubs it on his knees before going in on his hips. He says it's a wonder. And here's a surgeon, telling you that this stuff is amazing. Okay? And it also stinks very nice. Okay? Okay? It's good. Okay? Some of the oils you'll also find in the Song of Solomon. They are for marital relations also, okay? And here, clinical research shows that it contains very high immune stimulating properties. One of the things you want to do if you're getting sick is you want to be able to breathe good. Everybody, you get sick and you got that stuffed up nose, right? And you're trying to sleep. And the longer you can't sleep, the longer the virus lasts, right? So one of the things you want to do is be able to get this stuff into your body so that you can have a restful period, getting your immune system going upward, okay? And that's where you'll see the cedars of Lebanon, where it helps to oxygenate your body, okay? What you'll do a lot of times if you're getting sick, most of us don't have monster-sized bedrooms. Maybe you got a 12 by 12 or something like that. You light the candle in the bedroom, okay? Have one person awake because it's fire. What it does is it goes into the air. And you breathe it in for a couple hours, you'll find in the morning, you will be fine. Here are some overviews. If you want to write some of them down, we're going to go through it. But here are some of the references to some of the oils. We'll leave it up there for a little bit if you want to take notes. Okay? Just so you know that we're not pulling this out of thin air. Okay? I'm not just talking just to hear myself talk. I could do that at home. Okay? So there are tremendous amounts of references here in the cedar wood. This helps the oxygenation of your body. It helps your body to start to get the things, binding things in your body, having the cells. There's a way a cell works, okay? The cell has to be able to get oxygen into it so that it can carry the medicine to another area. Okay, in Leviticus 14:4, verse 6, verse 49, 51 and 52. Cinnamon. One of the best cinnamons, the cinnamons that came to the land, most of the original things were not grown in Israel proper. Okay? All these medicines came from the nations. So the best cinnamon on the planet that you can get is the original. It comes from Gujarat, India. You would be coming to my 7-Eleven and I would be giving you some cinnamon. Okay. I went to India, and yes, I don't know why they do that with their head. Hold on, look, it's a bunch of bobbleheads. Okay? Cinnamon you'll find in Shemot 30, verse 23, Mishlai 7:17, Song of Solomon 4, verse 14, and Revelation 18, verse 13. These are just some of the references. Frankincense, that is one of the biggest oils that you're going to find. A lot of people have some great testimonies of that. And you'll find that in a variety of what's listed there. And also the myrrh, which is very good for breathing and asthma. My older son, who's not here today, he works on Sundays. He used to be an asthmatic as a child. Nebulizers and everything. Up until the age of 5, we started doing the oils. And we took away all that man-made stuff, all those steroids. And lo and behold, he's not an asthmatic anymore. Amen. I'll let you ladies write. I see some pens going, so just take your time. Any questions while people are writing? It's Sunday. I have Shabbat hangover. Because at Beth Goyim we do a service, an Erev Shabbat service at 11:30 at night, because we broadcast to the Philippines. So they're exactly 12 hours opposite us. So we're there 11:30 at night till 1:30 in the morning. So I got to bed between 1:30 and 2 on Friday. Then we have our whole Shabbat service, which we get there at 9:30, and we stay the whole day. It's God's day. We stay the whole day. We have our service. Our service is done in 2 languages, so it takes doubly long. And I don't want you to leave spiritually hungry. So our messages are approximately 2.5 hours to 3 hours long. I want you leaving knowing something you didn't once you left. And actually, I went a little over that yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an incredible message. When Yeshua talks about going through the narrow gate, how big is the gate? Does anybody know how big the gate is? Bananas. How big is the biggest pearl ever found on the planet? And what is the gates made in the new heaven and the new earth? The new gate is made of a pearl. So how big, just put that there, thank you. The biggest pearl ever found was found in the Philippines. 9.5 inches big. Try to fit your face through that door in heaven. All right, we're going to move on to the next slide. There's some of the other things you'll find. Hyssop is one of the biggest one. Hyssop you're going to find is good for 99 different problems. 99. And you usually get that together with something else also. Okay? Coriander, you could put, and most of these, like I said, you could put in your food. So if you're sick, make some pasta and add some of this proper stuff on it. You can add coriander seed into your pasta, hyssop, basil, all in the same family. Or get a slice of pizza, my favorite. Add a whole bunch more of the basil and oregano. There you go. There's a man after my own heart. He said, yeah. Okay, the myrtle, you're going to see that's a tree. That's a very interesting one. What you can do too, I know this is strange to come from a Jew. I give things for free. Just send me an email. I'll send you the PowerPoint. Okay? It's all God, and the Torah was given for free. I give the teachings for free because I'm an idiot. All right, and here's some of the other ones. But we're going to go through a lot of these, okay? And you just see, there's so much found in the Scriptures. So much. Don't just read the Torah portion. Ask yourself, why is Jehovah saying this? What's its purpose? Don't just do the surface, everybody. It's not worth it. If you're married to the king and you're his child, know what your family is all about. Why is he saying it? What's its purpose? What am I to learn from this? How does it grow from inside of me? All right? Scriptures tell us about how to prevent and cure a plague. There is one perfume labeled the King James. It's an effective blend of oils that are extremely powerful against viruses, bacteria, and antimicrobial stuff. Okay? It was used in the Middle Ages successfully against the bubonic plague by perfumes and tanners. Okay? This frankincense and myrrh blend, along with the cassia. The perfumers were able to bury the bodies, okay, and not die themselves. Okay, the virus, still incubates. When a person is dead, doesn't mean that that virus is dead. Okay, especially in the summertime. The virus will die when the body is cool, but in the summer, the body does not get cool. Okay, so what happens is that virus still incubates. We lost our person. Oh, she's back. All right, you're back. Let me get back to the study here. Okay, so what you're going to find is putting it on your hands, putting it on your face, putting it on your neck. You have glands on either side of your neck that run your body. Okay, this is where a lot of times it's a little bit more difficult for us guys that have these wonderful beards. Okay, so what you do, you have to pull it back and get to, because it will go into the skin. What you're going to find is that the essence of the hyssop and all the different oils is smaller than an oxygen molecule. It'll penetrate right through your skin. Going on to the next slide. If you turn to Mark chapter 6. Mark chapter 6. Mark chapter 6, verse 12 and 13. So they set out and preached that people should turn from sin to Jehovah. They expelled many demons, and they anointed many sick people with oil and healed them. Okay, so even in the Brit Hadashah, this still was going on. The anointing of the sick. Well, what are you doing? Just pouring olive oil over? Making them a salad, a little olive oil and vinegar, toss them around a little bit, hey, you're healed. No, that would be the Christian church. Okay, I'm slain in the spirit. No. Okay, no, it's anointing that really has to be done. Okay, and there's a purpose with each oil. With the demons, there's going to be a certain type of oil that you're going to use. And if people don't want to believe in demons, let me tell you, I have met them face to face. In Africa, let's just say that was a ballpark for them. One night, it was really dark, and the drums were going. Every night you heard this drumming thing going on. And all of a sudden, there was a storm rolling in, and it was pitch black, because where we were, there were no lights. So when the statement, smile so I can see you, actually does work. Especially there, because they're very dark-skinned, very dark-skinned. And one time, a flash of lightning, and all I saw was on top of the huts. We were in these huts that went up into a point. There were 2 gargoyles. That's when we saw the devil that night. And 2 of the team members got taken by the devil. All they could say the whole next 48 hours was, Jesus! Oh boy. I had to send them back to the main compound because we could not get the demon out of them. And they were fine right before that. So here, as you're seeing in Mark 6, verse 13, they expelled many demons, and then what? They anointed many sick people with oil and healed them. There's a reason for each one of these oils. Okay? How do the essential oils work? We're going to go through a little chemistry so you get a little bit background. And then we'll maybe, if you want a little break after the whole chemistry area, before we get into all the essential oils, we'll do that. How do the oils work? Essential oils have a very small molecular structure. They can therefore penetrate the human body over the skin. They just go into your body by permeation of the skin, then into the bloodstream, and from here to all cells of the body. Now, what does that mean? Okay. Just like you feel heat, things penetrate your skin. We have all sorts of, things that we can feel and touch. What happens is when you light one of the oils, what it does is it heats up the essence in the candle. Okay? In these particular candles that are made by Abba oil is the highest concentration of the essence that you can get without snuffing out the wick. This is the largest wick you can get for a candle, Greer told me. And what happens is they put the very highest point to it. What it does, the flame will heat up the essence. It then floats into the air or around your body, penetrating into your skin because it is smaller than an oxygen molecule. Okay, so what these oils do is they'll go through the air or through to your body anywhere. That's why I said if you're feeling sick, go into your bedroom, close all the doors, close all the windows, light the candle for like an hour even before going in there. And then go in there and go to sleep for a while, for about 2 hours. You will feel tremendously better. My next door neighbor was having an upper respiratory problem all week long. On Shabbat, we gave him a myrrh candle, and lo and behold, a day later, no more respiratory problem, because it penetrates in exactly what was said in the slide. Group number 1, just so you can get different groupings of these. We're going a little into the chemistry. For the presentation is for a variety of people, from layperson that doesn't know anything to somebody who wants to know why it works. Because sometimes, maybe you can work for a drug company, you might be able to give them the proper information. Okay? What happens when you're having a virus, what happens to the cell is it doesn't receive information well, okay? So what happens with these different groups, the first group, the ring around the molecule is junky. It's got garbage around it. It's sort of like, you're trying to glue something and you've tried to glue it before, you got to get the glue off, right? That's what my wife tells me. You got to clean the glue off first before you do it again, okay? What do men do? Duct tape, okay? Duct tape. We'll just put duct tape on it. It'll work. Okay, but that doesn't work with cells. Cells that are sick need to first be cleaned with certain oil. So a lot of times too, what you'll do is with the oils, you use a hyssop oil first to then cleanse the area of any external viruses that are there, and then put your secondary oil on thereafter, because you've cleaned the receptor site. With the hyssop, it has killed the 99 different viruses that it is good for, and then you put the secondary oil on. And you only need a little. That's why I always carry a little with me. Okay? Got the ephod and a mezuzah. It's got bite marks in it from when I was a kid. And 2 that you don't lose because they stay in your pocket. And you put the oil in it, and you just put it on if you get a cut, a child, or something like that. Okay, so the first area, the group 1, compounds, carbon ring molecules, clean the receptor sites of the cell. Without clean receptors, the cell cannot communicate, and the body malfunctions. If things aren't talking well, just like in a marriage, what happens? If you're not talking well, you get miscommunication, and then there's problems, and there's no shalom in the home, right? 27 years, I understand that sometimes you ladies have to talk a little more than us men. Okay? So you need to have those clean receptors, and that's found in clove, in the cassia, the basil, and the cinnamon, as well as some of the other essential oils. So first, like the cassia, you got the skin disorder on it, that cassia is going to clean the site well to get rid of it. Going on to 17, group number 2. With tiny molecular weight. For those that are into the science, like our brother here, it's 136 AMU. That puppy is small. That is really small. You'd have to really get it seriously if you're into science there, young man. Okay, you got to learn. It's good stuff. It's really good stuff. Okay? You'd have to look under it as a very powerful microscope, okay? It's a very small, it will penetrate any part of your body. So like I said, once we get into learning about the different oils, those candles really do a great job. And then also some of the oils, we do have even the roll-ons now, where you can roll it onto your skin instead of doing the oil itself. The oil is very good because the olive oil, if you got rough skin, okay, what the olive oil does is soften the skin first, and then the essence penetrates through the skin. So when both of my sons and my wife were sick from this virus that was going on, Okay? We lit the candles, but then we put the oil right on the GI tract. Okay? Where other people in the congregation didn't. They had the virus 7 days, we had it 3, because it penetrated right through, because the AMU is only 136. Okay? What happens to the cell by doing this is it basically hits the restart on the cell. It takes it, I don't know how many people got CCleaner for their computer. Okay? If you don't, get it. Okay? Okay, because you go on the websites and each website puts stuff into your computer that you don't want there. So what these things do is CCleaner for your body. Okay? It takes all the information, or maybe I could put it this way. Anybody ever get a new computer? Okay? And it runs really good, right? And like 3 weeks later, you're like, why is this computer running so daggone slow? I did nothing to it. Okay? Well, it's because the computer hard drive has gotten some stuff on it that has corrupted it. The same thing goes for our cells. The older we get, the more corrupt our cells get, because that's how we got the gray hair. Okay? And you need to get this. And if you have a virus, that's what's going on with your cells, is that the DNA information of the cell has gotten some sort of corruptness. That's how cancer is cells that get malformed. Okay? So what happens when we get into the pomegranate, you're going to see that what it does is it takes that cell and takes out all the junk of the cell and replaces it back to its normal stasis. Okay? There are 2,000 different varieties of monoterpenes. The oils with the highest count of monoterpenes is galbum, angelica, not from Rugrats, and hyssop. Okay? Hyssop, that's one of the main oils that we use for everything. You're going to find that that oil is amazing. Okay? And what it does is it also raises your electrical output in your body. The more you go down with your heart is an electrical current. Okay? That's why you ever see the shows, clear, and they restart your heart. Why? It's an electrical current. Your body runs on electricity. Most people don't understand that. So what these oils do in group number 2, with this atomic mass weight of 136, what it does is it resets your electricity, turns it back up. Because what happens when you get sick? It turns it down. And that's why you walk like this. I'm going to get you, rabbit. Rabbit. Gossamer. I love gossamer. Because monsters have such interesting hair. Group number 3. Group number 3. This is one of your really good ones, because this is the oxygen that comes into our body. These compounds, these isoprene units, deliver oxygen to the cells. If you don't got oxygen in your cells, what's the first thing we do on the ambulance when somebody gets injured? Give them 100% oxygen. Okay? Somebody's having a myocardial infarction, a heart attack. What do you do first? Oxygen. Because that's going to help the muscles start to get better immediately. Your heart is a muscle with electricity in it. So here, the highest count is the cedar, the green one over there. Why do you think Solomon was one of the smartest people on the planet? One, when God asks you for something, do I want money? Do I want fame? No. Wisdom. But he also used his brain, and what happened? What was Solomon's palace built of? Cedar wood. Cedars of Lebanon. The cedars will help you oxygenate more in your body. So if you're having asthma, what happens with the asthmatic? They can't breathe. Okay, the oxygen doesn't get into their body. There's a buildup for their lungs, and the trees in their lungs don't accept the oxygen anymore. So what happens is an imbalance. But if you got a big test or a big meeting that next day, you want a really good night's sleep, what do? Cedars of Lebanon, and it's going to look gross, but this is just part of the presentation. What you do is you put the oil on your finger and do that. Put it up your nose so it gets into the membranes and you breathe it in. Okay? Stick your finger up your nose like you're the 2-year-old over there. Okay? What's the best thing a 2-year-old does? Hey, you want some? Okay. But you gotta breathe it in. And the best way is to get it to the back of your nose into the membranes. Okay? Into the back. So it starts also, what it's going to do is start going up into your brain by going up into your nose. And because you can't really put it in your mouth with that way, but you put it in your nose, and then it goes up your nose into the hypothalamus in your brain here, in the middle here. And then you start to really sleep well. Yes, ma'am.
So that would help someone that's diagnosed with COPD?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You get that green candle, you're going to sleep well. You will sleep like a baby. Sometimes I come home and, ministry's ministry. And you want to sleep real. I say, Lord, oh, please let me sleep tonight. Let me get 5 hours straight. And the phone rang at 4 a.m. in the morning last night. That's the problem with having a worldwide ministry. Anyway, but yeah, you put that and you will sleep, because what happens is it releases something in your brain that you'll see later on that gives you the rest. So somebody's got COPD.
But you wouldn't have that burning all night.
You could put it on a candle warmer. Yeah. It doesn't work as well, but you can just put it on, you could put it up your nose, around your nose, on your lungs. Yeah, and it works phenomenal. Yeah. If you got a big test the next day, or some meeting or something like that, or a COPD, you want a good sleep, boom. Okay? I saw another hand. Yes, sir.
I was just going to say, when you oxygenate yourself, you're also killing a lot of disease.
Yeah, because you're enabling your body to raise from the 12 or 14% that we're normally doing. If you're at the Dead Sea, that's the lowest place on the planet. The oxygen is about 23%. If you're on Machu Picchu like I was, the oxygen was about 6%. You are sucking wind. Okay. You are walk slow. Especially then, I was a little heavier. You're sucking wind. But yeah, the more oxygen you can get in your body, what happens with COPD patients? They always get oxygen, right? Because they're not oxygenating. You use the cedars of Lebanon, you will oxygenate. Absolutely. Moving on to this. Remember, when Aaron the priest was commanded to take the oils, make them vaporize by adding fire to the censer, and an immediate rush to the people to stop the plagues. Remember, Aaron, I always want to see, woo, Aaron's like 83 years old, whoosh, running like the Dickens. So if you want to read that, let's go read that. Numbers, Bamidbar 16. Take a sip of the coffee. That is good. Bamidbar 16, verse 46. I am also reading from the CJB for those that are looking up on the screen. Bamidbar 16, verse 46. Moshe said to Aaron, take your fire pan, put fire from the altar in it. Lay incense on it and hurry with it to the assembly to make atonement for them, because anger has gone out from Jehovah and the plague has already begun. Okay, so what did he say? Why did he say that? What do you want me to bring? We want the 83-year-old guy to run out into the middle of all these people that are dying? And with what? Fire? And incense? You wanted me to do what? Take a candle, bring the light into the middle of the people that are dying? Very fascinating. Now you have it. Now you have it. Everything is layered in the scriptures, everybody. Don't just read this. Do not speed read through the parash. Do not speed read through the parash. There are so many different layers to what goes on with Jehovah's Word. Don't do that to him. We're lucky enough to have it. I got 32 Bibles in my computer here, 15 concordances, 12 dictionaries. Do not speed read through it. Get your blessings. They're there for the taking. There's gold there, okay? So here, why did Moshe say to Aaron? Well, Jehovah told him to. Take your fire pan. Why? From where? The altar, the Beit HaMikdash. Okay, go from a holy thing. Here's what God said, okay? Take it, put incense on it. Fire. Why? Fire, because it's going to make the oil essence better. It's going to illuminate it better. It's going to bring it further. It's going to make it a vapor. It's going to be for everybody to breathe. And then you're going to bring it out to everybody, and they're going to breathe, and they're going to get better. Wow, all that in verse 46? Yeah, and a lot more. Why did he say? What's on the altar? Well, then you have to go back further, back to Vayikra, to find out what was burning. Oh, maybe there's something in that scarlet, or maybe there's something. Oh. Yeah, that's what it is. You go back. You take your time in your word, because one, you're going to get a blessing because you're going to know your king a lot better. But two, you're going to see, why did he say that? What's this atonement? Okay, well, when we have the atonement for the rabbinic-ship, or the Kohanim, what did they put on it to burn? And why are they burning that cow? Why are they burning the red heifer? Oh, you should see the chemical compound. Why he says to put the ashes of the red heifer in the water? You should see what it does to the water chemically. It is absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely. You know, why was Yeshua's first miracle? You know, the wedding at Cana, right? The water turned into wine, right? What was in that water? They were for Jewish ceremonial washing, right? What's in the water? Oh, the ashes of the red heifer. It's amazing. My daughter-in-law did a study on it. We're getting it ready. It's got to be put. We're doing wedding preparation, so things have been put on hold. We're getting married in 25 more days. The wife's not happy about it, but us men, we're better. Yeah. Okay. So why this? Why the fire? Okay. We are no different situation today. Aaron stopped the plague with burning frankincense, galbanum, and this is said a couple of different ways. O-N-Y-C-K-A, oinkya, and myrrh among the people. After 14,700 people died from the plague. You know, we got a lot of plagues going on right now. Ebola, Bubonic Plague, HIV. You know, if you turn from sin, you seek the kingdom, you pray, and then anoint, and then teshuvah. What is teshuvah? Repent and return. Teshuvah. And you know what? The king is willing to forgive if you do it fully in your heart, because it's a heart issue. Because we were in our message yesterday talking about Balaam and Balak. You know, what was the first thing he did? He prayed to God. You know, and then he prayed actually to Elohim. He went to talk to Elohim. But then who gave the answer not to go with the guy to go curse Israel? Jehovah. The Father said. Okay? So here, you got to see what the heart issue is all about. That's the key about praying. Okay? Burning the frankincense and myrrh. Burning that. Okay? Going on to the next one. What can we do? Are we priests of the Most High Yeshua? If so, we should consider to take measures to prevent ourselves, our families, and our neighbors from the current plague that picks up momentum. How? With prayer and natural substances Abba created for us. The same essential oils that Aaron used to minister to the Israelites, the same Talmudim the disciples used to anoint and heal the sick. We are the priests. So your job is to not just keep this information to yourselves. Your job today is also to bring this out further. If you believe in it, that's okay. If you don't, well, you're holding your light under a bushel. Okay? My job is just to bring the glass of water. Okay? But as things in this world progress into chaos, how are we going to survive? How are you going to get medicines? You know? A lot of people are on I'm sure people in your family are all on different medicines. I'm sure people here are on different medicines. Could you ever think of yourself without your medicine? You know, how many people are on hypertensive medicines here today? What are you going to do when you can't get them? What are you going to do? You won't die fast. But there is a way to take away those. Because the hypertensive med is doing something else to your body also. It's working on your kidneys and your liver and really doing damage to that. So you're doing one thing for your heart, but then you're killing your kidney and your liver. Okay? That's why they have contraindication. That's why your doctor says, tell me all your meds you're on. And he, that's what my mother was on, like 50 different meds. It's like, get rid of them. Okay?
Shalom. This is Messianic Rabbi Andrew Dinnerman. I would personally like to thank you for tuning in to the Remnant's Call each and every week. You can listen to the full message on our website, bethgoyim.org. If you have drawn closer to the King of Kings, learned more about Him today, we are blessed. If you are blessed by these messages, please consider a donation to our ministry. You can go to our website, bethgoyim.org. That's BETHGOYIM.org, and click on the donate button. You do not have to have a PayPal account to donate. All you need is a debit card. Once again, thank you very much for listening to The Remnant's Call.
All right, we're going to start getting into the oils. Do you want to take a little 10-minute break, a little 15-minute break to just stand up for a minute? Because we'll get into the next section. Or do you have questions about this section first? Okay? Question?
People that do have questions, I know there are. Feel free to ask if you do.
Yes,
Go
ma'am.
ahead.
What is your email address?
Rabbi Andrew, RABBIANDREW, at Beth, BETH, Goyim, GOYIM.org. Rabbi Andrew at bethgoyim.org. Why the name? Well, you know, the Beit HaMikdash, the third one's going to be named after our congregation. Did you see that last week? Did you see that? It comes from Isaiah 56, verse 7, where my house will be called a house of prayer for all nations. And you know what the Temple Institute? They want to raise $100,000 for the architectural plans for the third temple. They said it would be called a house of prayer for all nations. Oh, Beth Goyim. Yeah. We were first. Actually, I stole it from my cousin Isaiah. Yes, sir.
I'm wondering, on your website, does it go into detail explaining everything about all the healing oil?
This particular study is in a four-part. Let me see if I could do it. Our website, from what I've been told from the people at the Messianic Times, is the most comprehensive Messianic website on the planet. There are over 640 videos on our website. You come to the main part of the website here. Go to the education section right here. Once you get to the education section, you come over to discipleship television. Once you get there, this opens up Pandora's box. There are 35 different studies on this page alone. Saturday or Sunday, keeping Shabbat holy, entering into Shabbat. Many other different topics, circumcision, tzitziot. And if you go down to, what row is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, the fifth row. You can click on the healing oil study here. It'll take you to another page. And it's a 3-part study. It might be a little difficult for some people. It is in English and in Spanish. I talk, my translator speaks. We have a lot of people at the congregation that do not speak English, and God, in His infinite wisdom, sent a guy that doesn't speak Spanish down there. But yeah, you can just open it up. If you go here to the video and just click on it and play. You can download this PowerPoint that I'm presenting to you now for free. If you want to give a donation, that's nice. If you don't, that's between you and God. Okay, but everything's on our website. We had 1,000 people come to the website last week. Okay, but the names of God, Christmas, Hanukkah, Valentine's Day, Halloween, Rosh Chodesh. Welcome to the 5th month. Make sure you keep that in mind, everybody. Okay, because if the calendar goes wacky, you're still liable for the fall holy days. Okay. Why? Now Rosh Chodesh, we don't say the black moon. It's the first sighting. How do you sight the moon? Oh, it's got to be that first part, guys. Okay, not the black moon. There's a whole teaching like that out there. How do you sight the moon? You got to see it, don't you? All right. Any other questions? All right. Yes, sir. Yep. You can also put the oil on your lungs, because when you're having asthma, what's happening is the trees, like they look like little fingers in your lungs, they're not being able to take in the oxygen molecule. So what you got to do is put the myrrh on the lungs itself, and along with the pomegranate to reset that. Actually, what we did for my son, we did myrrh and frankincense myrrh. We doubled up on the myrrh. Okay, but yeah, he was 5. He was on the chamber. We had a whole, what do we call it? The nebulizer. Sorry, it's Sunday. Nebulizer, and he was on steroids too. Steroids also, they're good for a moment, but then you get fat. Okay, and our son was starting to blow up like a balloon. So we're like, we got to pray. We got to do this, and then we found the oils, and then we did this whole thing, and about 6 months later, no more asthma attacks. Also, remember, these things take time. And most of the time when doing this, when you're sick, 3 times a day times 7 days. Why? Because God wants you talking to Him. So if you're praying 3 times a day, how many people can honestly say, don't answer this? Think about yourself. Do you actually take time, like David, to pray 3 times a day? Do you really actually do the Shema twice a day and really have time in prayer? Okay, so when you're sick, 3 times a day times 7 days. 1 full cycle of Shabbat. All going to be answered now. Each of the oils, one of the questions I had is, can you mix and match the oils? What you're going to find is that each oil has a specific purpose. You have to match up the oil to your symptoms. Okay, what you're having. If you're having an autoimmune system problem, you're having ocular degeneration, it doesn't matter what it is. What we're going to do is we're going to go through all the different oils. You can mix and match oils. Sometimes it does take 2 or 3. Like the Ebola. My summation of it would be, put the guy in a room at 100% oxygen with a hyssop burning in the 100% oxygen or into the oxygen, and the cassia going directly into an intravenous wide bore IV right into his arm. It would kill the virus within inside of 24 hours. Okay? You're going to have to mix and match what's going on. You're going to have to figure out what your symptoms are, being honest with yourself. A lot of people are not honest with yourselves. Well, because you go to the doctor, it's when I had patients. Okay? Tell me what's going on. Well, my arm hurts. Okay? Could you be a little bit more specific than that? Or are we going to play 20 questions or Jeopardy? Okay? Be honest with yourself. Think about what the symptoms you're getting in your body for each one of these different things. Okay? Going on to slide number 23, we're going to start with sandalwood. This particular one is very difficult to find. Abba Oil does not carry it. They are working on trying to. It's extraordinarily expensive, okay? Because it is not readily available, okay? If you look in the Gospel of Yochanan chapter 19, verses 39 and 40. Yochanan 19, verse 39 and 40. Also Nakdimon was the first who had gone to Yeshua by night, came with some 70 pounds of spices, a mixture of myrrh and aloes. They took Yeshua's body, wrapped it up in a linen sheet with the spices, in keeping with the Judean burial practices. Okay, so you see the burial of a Hebrew works in a certain manner. If you're still doing it biblically today, you would still do this. What it does is it pulls the flesh off the body a lot rapidly. It's children speak there. Okay, and then it has a whole process with the linen. Because remember, linen is a natural substance. The manner of which Aaron's garments were made is a very long process of making linen. Okay? But you see, they put the sandalwood and the spices are part of that for Yeshua's burial. Okay? We're going on to slide number 24. Okay? I have a couple of different books of the biblical plants that are there. Some, there's a couple of different varieties that you can get, but general understanding of the particular plant. There was a book that was of all the oils in the scriptures that was presented by Lavinius Lemmers. Some people like to get it. You can probably get it on Amazon, a new copy of it. It was made in 1566 by Lavinius Lemens. Okay? He went through all the different things because there are some different varieties of the different sandalwoods and things that you can get. Okay? Let's see here. The sandalwood, if you're having a respiratory problem, like I said. Well, here's the part when we get all the questions. So, the sandalwood has the highest ability for your breathing problems. Okay? Like I said, this one is not readily available. It's like $80 for a quarter ounce. It's really expensive, but the cedars works very similar to it. But the highest one known that we do find in Scripture that Solomon's temple was made of was this oxygenation that's called the sandalwood. It's an aloe also. And what it does is it releases something in your brain from the pineal gland. Okay? It helps you to oxygenate your body. It helps to make you sleep a lot better. Sleep like a 2-year-old baby who is not teething. Okay? Okay? What it does, the pineal gland is responsible for releasing melatonin into the blood system. Okay? What that does is helps you to relax. Okay? You know, or just read your Bible, you'll fall asleep quick. Oh, I'm reading the book of Job. You know, that's what happens, okay? Okay? What it does is with this melatonin being released into your body, it enhances deep sleep. Okay? What's good about that is if you are sick, the deeper the sleep, the more rapidly you will repair what is broken. By having this deep sleep where you're not, thinking, you're not doing anything else, you're getting into deep sleep, it'll enhance this. And by using the sandalwood and the cedars, you will release this into your body. Okay? The sandalwood is also similar to the frankincense. Okay? You can use the frankincense. A lot of people in our congregation and other people use the frankincense and myrrh. Why I did the whole thing of sticking your finger up your nose, I don't want you to use a Q-tip because what happens, some people puncture things in the back of their nose. With your finger, you know how far to go. Okay? And once you can't get any more in there, although I've seen some 2-year-olds go really deep, you want, what it is it's getting to the back membrane in your nose. In that, then there's only a small portion between that and your brain. And what it's doing is then releasing the melatonin into your system. It's telling your body, release this into the body, okay? So you can do that with the cedars and the frankincense, okay? What this is also does, the frankincense oil supports the nerves and the circulation. So some people starts getting some Parkinson's, they start getting the shakings, okay? You want to start using this to stop the effects of the Parkinson's, okay? The circulation, you want to get that circulation as high as possible. Sometimes we're not as, let's say, active as we once were, I used to spend most of the summer outside and people would come up to me and start speaking Spanish, because I'd get so dark. Now I rarely go outside because I'm in ministry, okay, at 80 or 90 hours a week. Okay, sitting a lot of times in front of this laptop, okay? So we don't get the circulation going. So what you want for us older people that don't do as much stuff anymore, you want to get that circulation going. The more circulation you have going, the better off the medicines are going to work. Okay, moving on to slide number 25. The sandalwood medical properties. What it does is it has the ability to oxygenate a part of the brain known as the pineal gland. Okay, there's been a bunch of papers published about this. What the sandalwood does, people that have skin cancers caused by, a lot of us when we were younger, like my wife and myself, went to the beach. And what did you do? You just laid there and baked yourself. Okay, a lot of people have skin cancers. The sandalwood, if you can get it, will be very good for certain types of skin cancers, okay? The anti-cancer research published in the January-February 2008 showed that the sandalwood was very good and you didn't have to go through the chemotherapy, okay? What the traditional uses, what you're going to see here, are the three parts of all these slides. You'll have the medical, the traditional, and the other uses, okay? I forgot I had my mouse. Okay? What you'll have here is this, the medical properties up here, okay? That's how all the slides are going to be, so you can draw your attention to it. The traditional usages, okay? The traditional uses of the sandalwood helps to hydrate skin, okay? A lot of times if you get cracked skin, you're going to get viruses into the cracked skin, okay? What the sandalwood does is it has a great potential of sleep enhancing effects. One of the things that we're going to keep going over, if you're sick, the best thing you could do is have a good night's sleep, okay? This also is good, it's expensive, but it's good for that teenage acne, or if you have other people that are older that have some sort of skin disorder of that thing, which is traditionally called a type of leprosy, okay? It is also good for people who have bronchitis, okay? Bronchitis, okay? Which is another type of respiratory type of problem. And the other thing that is a lot of problems that we're having out there today is people that have vertigo, you know, very dizziness, okay? The more oxygen you get in your brain, the less you're going to like, whoa, you get up real fast and your blood pressure drops down, okay? So a lot of older people, sometimes you get up fast and then you look like you got to grab something, okay? What's happening is your blood pressure is dropping down because you're lifting up real fast. The blood is going down, it ain't getting up here, okay? So the more oxygen you have up here, the better off you're going to be, okay? So let's get into some of the other oils. The cassia oil, this is what, I think they changed it to a dark brown now. In Psalm 45, verse 8, Psalm 45, verse 8, two of the oldest known spices in the world are cinnamon and cassia, okay? Cinnamon and cassia. All thy garments smell of myrrh, aloes, and cassia. Out of every ivory palace where they have been made thee glad. That was King James. Okay? Cassia is very similar to cinnamon. If you have diabetes, what we found in our household with my wife, cinnamon will help the diabetic a great deal. It'll help to level out your diabetes. It'll help with the highs and lows. The cinnamon you want to get it the one from India. What was India or Brazil, right? The Brazilian?
Yeah, the one from India.
Yeah, they really help with diabetes. So if you got anybody who's in your family, first and foremost, because we were talking at the break, if you're not keeping kosher, this stuff ain't going to work. Okay? You're putting pig into your body, you're just putting a virus into your body. You're putting clams or shrimp or all that other silly stuff, this is not going to work for you because you're putting in a toxin into your body. Jehovah said, don't do it. So if you're not keeping kosher, don't try doing this. Eat all the pig you want, eat all the shrimp you want, enjoy life, be happy and heavy. Okay? Cassia and the cinnamon, if you have diabetes in your family and people are keeping Torah, it will level your sugar levels out greatly. Okay, you can do the cinnamon in a tea, or like I like to do, I like to suck on those sticks, the cinnamon sticks, and it's also good for your breath. Okay. In the book, in the book of Job 42:14, Job bestowed the name Keziah, Hebrew for Cassia, and one of his three daughters. Cassia oil is among the most antiseptic. Listen to this greatly: antiseptic and essential oils. If you get some sort of cut and you got ooze coming out of it, you know, you hangnail and it gets infected, what the first thing you want to do is one, take it and go, squeeze it out, okay? Take the pain, squeeze it out, and then put cassia oil on it while it's oozing still. Because what will happen is the cassia will go in to the cut and kill the bacteria, okay? So whatever type of cut you got, even our brother over there, he fell off his bike. He's got some cuts on his arm. What you should do is put the cassia on it so it doesn't get infected. You have all the on your arm, that is all blood that is underneath the epidermis there. So the pomegranate and that also, but that can get infected, all the blood from falling off the bike. Okay, so rub the cassia into it underneath, on the skin, rub it in well. Actually put it on your hands, make it warm. Make it warm. Do the Miyagi-san. Oh, Miyagi-san. Oh, okay, yes, you want to make it warm. The warmer the better. So put that oil into it, make it nice and warm on your hand, and then put it on. It will do a lot better, okay? Now we'll go through some of this. The cassia oil, like I said, is among the most antiseptic of essential oils, okay? Antiseptic, free from germs, okay? Microorganisms. What happens is you start to get these things growing in your body, okay? The cassia will help it. Like you get an intestinal problem. What are we doing? We're putting the cassia on it. A lot of people are having IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, okay? You want to put the cassia on your intestinal tract. Take, right where you take where your ribs are. Feel where your ribs are. Everybody take your finger. At the bottom of your ribs, where your stomach, where the comes out, right up there. What happens is there is an intestine that goes across the top here and down your left-hand side. Okay? What you want to do if you're having IBS or you're having diarrhea or something like that is the bacteria. Let your body try to get rid of it for about 8 hours, 12 hours. Let it get rid of the junk. And then after that, you want to put the cassia on your GI tract. Okay? Because what's happening now, if you're still having it after 8 to 12 hours, then you you're going to have a chemical imbalance in your body. Okay? So what you do is you take the cassia oil, make it a little warm in your hand. This is the oil where the candle doesn't work as well, the oil, because what happens, it'll seep through your skin, go into your intestinal tract, and kill the germs, the microorganisms that are growing in your body. This is an oil greatly to have if, like I said, I do believe this world is going to go crazy very, very soon. We will not be able to get that. People are going to be eating whatever because they're going to be hungry. Okay? You will have, and at that point, if you become chemically imbalanced, where you can't get Gatorade or whatever to replace the electrolytes in your body, you will die. You'll become septic. You will die. Okay? How do you stop it? Well, you got to get the cassia. You got to figure out the plant to get it from. Okay? You got to get you can get the larger bottles. We have the smaller ones there, but you can get the larger ones, the 16 ounces. We have a supply at our congregation. I've been stocking up over the last year of the larger ones to have, because when things go bad, they're going to go really bad. Okay? So the cassia, and this is also, people are going to get cuts. If there's war, you're going to need this stuff to prevent infection. What the cassia does is it does prevent other infections. It kills the germs that have gotten into your body via cut or whatever. Okay? Even, you're walking, things happen, buildings are blown up or whatever, you get a cut on the ankle. Okay? You put the cassia on the cut. It's going to prevent the infection from growing, because it's a little seed that starts, and what happens, it'll start going up into your body. Once it gets into your circulatory system, you're done. Especially if there's no other medicines to get. Jehovah put them here for us to know, to get. Okay? You want to kill that microorganism. Okay? The medical properties here. I'll slow down a little bit now. The medical properties of the cassia or the cinnamon, okay, it is an antiseptic. It reduces or prevents infection. As soon as you get a small cut, okay, you start to see it get a little red, and it starts to hurt a little bit more, you have an infection brewing. Okay, especially if you got little kids. They're always getting cuts and bruises and things because they're kids. Okay? Once you see that redness starting to happen on the area, it's going to keep going. It's going to keep growing. Okay? So what you need is the cassia to prevent infection. It is an antibacterial and an antifungal. When we when we can't get Lysol to clean things, also surfaces. Let's say we have to start living in community, but we don't have bleach, we don't have Lysol. Okay, what if we can't get Windex? What do we? Let me tell you something. Okay, my big fat Greek wedding. Okay, what you need to do is you put a little bit of this in the water and then take a spray can on a table such as this. Before we sit down in community to eat, wipe down the table with the cassia. Okay, it's an antibacterial that you can put on your tables. Okay, and you can get them, like I said, in larger things, and it's actually much more cost effective than Lysol. Okay, and there is no side effects either. So if the kid wants to go, and eat it, go ahead. All right. What some of the other properties of this is also, say you got that tennis elbow, but you really don't play tennis. Okay. This is also used as an anti-inflammatory. Okay. The cassia here is an anti-inflammatory. Some of us played a little bit too much sports as younger people. My knees are really bad from playing football for all those years. I used to be really big. Okay, ask my wife. Okay, now I'm little. Okay, so here, but a lot of times the knees will start to hurt. Okay, the hips will start to hurt. A lot of us have back problems, right? How many of you got a back problem? Okay, you want to put this cassia. Well, why is it hurting? Is it just because we're old? No. Abraham lived to be how old? He had 6 kids at 120 years old. This is prior to the drugs. Okay? He wasn't going, I can't get up. Hi, I'm coming. Okay? So what's going on with our backs? Why? Is it a compression between the vertebrae? And if so, why? Then what happens when the two discs come together? Well, what's coming out is there's a nerve that comes out between the two discs, because there's supposed to be like a rubber stopper between the two vertebrae. What happens as we get older, they start to get a little more crunched because we're sitting over a desk like this. And then you get up and you go, whoa! Okay, well, what's happening? You're getting, I've been to my house. Yeah, it's like, you sit there for a while and then you stand up and you're like, I feel like the Tin Man, get me some oil. No, here's the oils. See, that's all the Tin Man needed. If I only had a brain. Oh, sorry. In a heart. It's a twister. So anyway, what you do is you want to put the oil on your vertebrae where you're having the problem. One, what's causing the malfunction? Is it a bacteria? Is it some fungus that's growing in our body? Because it's not normal to have these problems. If we're living the life in the scriptures that we see, Yosef was what, 127? Okay, Moshe lived to be 120 years old. Why are we? What is that? Okay, what's going on? So what may be going on is something going on, a fungus that's growing inside of your body. If you have an autoimmune system, you're much more likely to have a bacteria growing inside of your body. Okay? So how do we prevent it? Okay? This cassia helps support your immune system. Okay? It's lower down on the uses. The way I designed this PowerPoint, the primary is at the beginning of the sentence. Okay? They do have secondary avenues to all the oils, so it works down in level of priority too. Okay? So if you're having this immune system problem, well, immune system, it means something's getting into your body, some sort of bacterium that's causing then the next step of what's going on. So why am I having this pain in my back? Is it a bacteria that's growing inside of me, then I can do something with Jehovah's oils that's going to prevent what's going on in my body. Okay? So maybe once a week, once a day, or every third day. You remember in the scriptures where the guy who was outside the camp, he had to wash on the first, the third, and the seventh day? Why? Oh, how many times did he talk about them oils? What was he doing out there? Wasn't playing Nintendo. It wasn't invented this then. Well, he was sitting there talking to God. Maybe he was putting a little bit of oil on that problem that was going on. Okay? So here he's supporting his immune system. He's putting that to raise up the natural defenses of our body. Okay? By putting the oil, you can put the oil that way on up your nose. Most of the time, you want to get it in through your respiratory system because that's the highest oxygen that's going to the rest of your body. So you put it on your nose or on your neck here where the glands are. Okay? This is the way you're going to be putting the oil. So basically, you take your oil. Make sure your hands are clean. Okay, you take your oil. Put a little bit here. And demonstration. Okay, that's what you want to do. You want it up in your nose. You want to take a deep breath also, a couple of deep breaths afterwards, because what it's going to do is it's going to go into your lungs. From your lungs, your body gets the oxygen from the lungs, takes it into the circulatory system. Okay, you want to make sure, and then don't sneeze it out. Yeah. Achoo! Okay. So and then you know, if you start to feel a sneeze, just go like that. Stop it. Okay. Some of the other traditional usages, if you're having eye problems, cataract problems, stuff like that, the cassia can be used on your eyes to make things a little bit better. The way you put it on for your eyes, close your eyes, put it on the lids, okay? And then put it here around the eyes. It'll absorb through your skin into where the problems are having inside of your eyes, okay? Some of us are also having cardiac problems, okay? Hardening of your arteries, hardening of muscles of it. That's our arteriosclerosis, okay? A lot of this too you can put on food. These are all natural. You can eat them, okay? There's a lot of this. This you see a lot in the schools during the first month or so to the public school system. A lot of kids get ringworm. Okay, this is great for ringworm. Okay, so you put this on because the ringworm will be a ring on your skin. Well, put this on that ring. It should disappear in a while. Okay, the cassia can also be used as mouthwash. Put a couple of drops in a glass of water, swish it around. You can drink it because then it can go in your body, or it'll just kill the bacteria in your mouth because what's causing you to have the bad breath is a bacteria. Okay? So one, start eating kosher because a lot of the bacteria comes from your stomach and what you're putting in it because kosher is what comes from inside of you. Okay? So don't be putting junk inside of you. Yes?
Buy in the supermarket, can we put some of these oils on our salad?
Absolutely.
It's not a problem.
Absolutely.
Now, then it would be absorbed the same way, but no, because it's going into the acid.
It will go into the acid of the stomach a little bit. It will, but it is part of the digestive system. Like we were talking earlier, you're taking an extract that goes directly into your stomach. It deadens it a lot. Okay, you can eat them. Yeah, because that way you're breathing in, it's going in through another area that's not going to destroy it.
And then just one other question on potassium. Since you're putting that up nasally, people like, I know a lot of family friends, they have a seasonal allergy where they get sinusitis, where they start getting the inflammation. So if they would put it, would they start using that a week or two before the change?
As soon as you feel something coming on, immediately, we have our congregations about, yeah, I tell our people, our congregation's like about 70 now, 60 or 70, I think there was like 70 people there yesterday. I tell them as soon as you feel something, or even like I come home, as soon as you put it right up, right? Especially like when you're going to sleep, because then you're going to be restful, and your body's going to have time to recoup and use the medicine to its fullest. Okay, so as soon as you feel your first sign. Yes, ma'am.
Would it count like hay fever? And then also what about, say, candida in the intestines? Candida would
Yep, it'll take it away.
rub on the...
Yep, rub it on your intestines. You know, the intestines are all along here, along the top here. And then, like I said, your descending colon goes down your left side. So make sure it's there. Because then it'll start, that's how you absorb all your medicine from the secular. The way it absorbs, it goes in your intestines. That's why you also need a lot of water for secular medicines. This you don't need it. You put it on a topical. Its atomic mass weight is smaller than the oxygen. It'll penetrate through your epidermis right to the cause.
Okay, and then what about people with pollen?
Allergies.
Allergies.
Yep, frankincense and myrrh. Yep, we had a lot of that. A lot of people, they couldn't breathe. I said, put the frankincense, take 2 fingers and go like this. In 10 minutes, they were breathing. 10 minutes. This, you see how the top priorities are here, the antiseptic? Okay, it's down the line. So if one is not working, you're going to see the primary functions of different oils. Go with that first, the primary function. The secondary function of the cassia is some of the respiratory stuff, okay? But its primary function is an antiseptic and preventing infection. So if you're working in healthcare and there's everybody coming in sick, or you're a teacher, or you're some sort of child care provider where you're going to be with a lot of people, or prior to going out to the ShopRite or whatever you have out here, okay, whichever supermarket, where you're going to be with a lot of people, put this on your nose prior to going outside, okay? You're going to be taking mass transit, to train, or you work in a city or whatever, or you work in a big corporation. A lot of people, you know, before you go to work, before you get out of your car, put this stuff on your nose. You know, make sure, don't do it up your nose at that point because people think you're snorting coke, okay? You're coming to work all high, are you? No, I'm not, man. So you do that prior to going in. It is this. So the primary function is an antiseptic and preventing infections, okay? Then we work down. That's how I designed the PowerPoint. Primary, because you're going to see all the other oils, some of their primary functions will be this. Their secondary is other, okay? So other uses like, you know, bad breath, okay? That's not a primary function. You got bad breath, you know, you can keep people away from you. Hi. I didn't want to talk to you anyway, okay? And like I said, it helps boils. A lot of people are getting the more stress you get out, you get to certain boils and things like that. Ringworm, fungal infections, nails. A lot of people, you know, kids, you know, they bang their foot on something. They come in, they got a hangnail or something of that nature, and you pull it off, there's an infection. This helps to go right into where the infection lies. It'll kill it. Okay, moving on to the frankincense, okay? I think they've changed this. Some of these, the pictures I grabbed were a little older.
Is that we don't have much of just straight frankincense. That the frankincense does look like that. It's a lot of frankincense and myrrh in one. So we don't have straight frankincense with this here.
Right, yeah. They generally put into, it comes from the Song of Solomon. Who is this coming up from the desert like a column of smoke, perfumed with myrrh and frankincense, chosen from the merchant's crushed spices. Song of Solomon. Okay, so let's go through the frankincense, okay? An ancient synonym for frankincense is oil balnum. You might find that in some of it. If you're reading some of the older, if you like to read King Jimmy version, you'll see it, the Latin oleum labanum, okay? It comes from Lebanon. It originally came there. Frankincense has properties that kill bacteria. It kills bacteria in a different way than the cassia. What the frankincense does do is it disinfects things. So you can use it as a disinfectant in your bathroom and other places that you need disinfectants. Okay. What is beautiful about the frankincense and myrrh is it renews cells. Okay. If you have a cut, okay, like on your arm there, sir, what you'll do is you put the frankincense on it. You'll see within a couple of days that'll be gone. It is quite amazing. I had a cut on my leg. I was there for like 2 weeks. So I was like, oh, let me put the oil on it. Boom. Inside, I put it on every morning. It was gone in a week. Okay? And it really does renew the cell growth, and it leaves less of a mark on your body. It does heal wounds. So like, he fell off his bike, I would definitely put this on it. Because, the pain, you might be able to deal with it, but it's like it's a pain in the neck type of thing. Okay? A lot of people, like my next door neighbor, his kid is highly allergic to mosquito bites. It gets a lot blows up like a balloon. But what this does, if you put the frankincense on the insect bite, it will draw out the venom from the bite. Okay? And make the infection go away a lot faster, because what is a mosquito bite? The woman mosquito sucks your blood. Okay? So what it does is it puts in an anticoagulant into your skin when it sucks your blood, so that it can get the blood. Okay? So the women are sucking the blood of the men. Okay? And what it does is it causes an irritation. That's really what's going on. It's an irritation that's causing the itching. So the frankincense there will help to heal that wound, because what it is it's a puncture wound from an animal. Okay? It's a puncture wound from an animal. Keep that in your brain, because other animals do bite too. So if you get a puncture wound from an animal, it's putting in some sort of bacterium into your body. Okay? Some people also have rheumatism. Okay? This helps to relieve rheumatism. Okay? A lot of infections, like I said, if our system goes crazy, this one is one of your main oils to have. If you can have any other oil, this is one of the ones that will do a lot of big, very grand scale of healing things. Okay? Let's move on to where we break it down. Well, here's another. I wanted you to see this. This came from cancer research. Immunologist Mahmoud Sahil. Oh, their goodness. Cancer starts when the DNA code within a cell's nucleus becomes corrupted. It seems frankincense is able to reset the function. So if you got people that have cancer that you know, the frankincense, along with the pomegranate that we'll get into, will help reset those cells. Okay? It's very important. And they tried to bury this article and this research, but it's all natural, and it will reset the cancer cells. Okay? And it's the same principle of the injury on the arm. Okay? It's resetting the cell to regrow itself. Okay? Because what happens when you get a cut, what the body sends certain blood cells to stop the cut from bleeding, and then it covers it over to protect it. But now you have other cells that are still in there that are broken. So you have to put the oil on it. First of all, the olive oil will make the wound smoother, will make it more healable, receptive to the essence of the oil. And then when you put that on, then the oil then will reset the cells that need to be reprogrammed in there. Okay? Let's move on to here. The properties. Okay? Listed here are the properties again. The properties of the frankincense itself is one, is an anti-infection. Okay, we see here, it's anti-infectious here. Okay? If you're a believer, you really shouldn't be depressed anyway. Okay? There's people that are, So, immune system, or expectorant. Okay, getting rid of stuff in your body. You got the snot going down into your lungs. It helps to get rid of all that mucus that's growing in your body. So the frankincense, we don't have the frankincense myrrh candle is the orange. So if you're having this sickness, like I said, go into a smaller room, light the candle, or put it on a warmer so it melts down. But the essence will go into the air, and you'll be breathing it in, and you'll be able to get rid of the mucus that's growing in your lungs. Anybody who has you can't really breathe. What did I have? No, not asthma. What did I have that one day? Well, no, not the emphysema. I came home from the hospital that day. Pneumonia. Yeah, pneumonia. Yeah, if you have pneumonia, it means you got a plug in. I was working in the hospital and I was turning blue, and the ER physician's like, "What's wrong with you?" Can't breathe a little bit. So he listened to my lung and had like 3 plugs in my lungs. So if you have this pneumonia, where people have gotten really sick, basically get into the room, light the frankincense and myrrh candle. In about 8 hours, you're going to feel a lot better, and you're going to cough up the junk that's in your lungs. Okay. The frankincense essence itself supports nerves. So if you have people that are doing, getting the Parkinson's, that's a nervous system problem. Okay, having the frankincense essence will help to slow down that process and start to make it go backwards. Okay, start to make it go backwards. Frankincense and myrrh, as it's a mixture, will support your immune system greatly. Will support the immune system greatly. It is very good for your cardiovascular system. If you said you're on hypertensive medicines, get the frankincense and myrrh, rub it on your heart, or have your husband rub it on your heart. It's a good thing. Okay, and then rub it in a couple of times a day, 3 times a day for 7 days. You're going to see a drastic change. You're going to feel a lot more energy, and it's going to help. And you're going to see that. But also, this is a hard one for people. You can't do both. You can't take man's meds and God's meds. They cancel each other out. Okay? That's a hard choice for some people. Okay? You're on a cardiac med, you got to choose. You're going to trust God for a week or so and see what He does. And a lot of people, what? Okay, well, that's cool. Obamacare. Okay? So here, this will help to get your heart system going, the cardiovascular system going. If you're having problems with your digestive system, a lot of people have a lot of food allergies. That's we're seeing more and more. Well, I can't eat this. I can't eat that. I can't eat. First of all, start eating kosher. Okay. Second of all, this will help to stop all the food allergies. Okay. This is also, frankincense has been used for gonorrhea, herpes, meningitis, syphilis, tuberculosis, and typhoid. First and foremost, teshuva. Then you wouldn't get these viruses and things like that. How are we going to get gonorrhea? Might want to stop going to those places. Tuberculosis is a respiratory thing. You get it by breathing. Okay, if you come in contact. So what you're doing, you're working with that, or you go there. Like I ran the hospital in Uganda. I was in Uganda for a month, and let's just say I was practicing medicine beyond what I should practice here in the United States. Okay? We had people with tuberculosis. What did I have on my face? I had the frankincense and myrrh on my face. Okay? Gonorrhea, we saw that there. Jaundice, we did see a little bit of that. Herpes, no. Syphilis, yes. You'll see a lot of these in areas where, in a lot of Muslim countries. You see a lot of this in the Muslim countries. Why? Because they can have a wife for an hour. We generally call that prostitution. Okay? So that's, something that their demonically possessed religion is all about. Okay. Frankincense, here, the medical properties. Let's go down this list. Okay? It kills bacteria, not as well as the cassia. Okay, it is a good one, but it works differently. It is a disinfectant, so you can use it on tables. You pour a little bit in a spray bottle with water, spray it on the tables. If you have nothing else, you can kill it. It does, as we spoke about already, renew cell regeneration, heals wounds, kills insect bites. Like I said, I've noticed a lot more people getting welts from mosquito bites. Okay, really. So put this, what that is an infection that is growing in the body. When you see the skin start to blow up, for what's going on, well, that means there's an infection growing. Get the infection out of it. Okay, not what really antidepressant. Okay, this one helps to get the brain going, to release more of the melanin into the system. Okay, the hypothalamus, which is take your finger in the middle of your mouth, go straight up into the middle of your brain, and the pituitary gland. Okay, this one is good for asthma. Okay, asthma, and some of us, a lot of people have ulcers in their stomach. Okay, before you knew the Lord, you were a little high-strung, let's say. You were the 45 cup a day coffee person, okay? And you got ulcers in your stomach. What you want to do is this one, like I said, what the frankincense is very good for, cell regeneration. What is an ulcer? So ulcer is a hole that has been caused because of the acid in your stomach, taking away the lining of your stomach, and then causing a bleed if it gets far enough. So here, this is very good for those ulcers. Also, a lot of people they're doing a lot of standing and they don't have good shoes, you'll get ulcers on your feet. Okay? Ulcers in other parts of your body. Sometimes you're taking care of an elder parent and you let them sit too long, they'll get a decubitus or an ulcer on their gluteus maximus, generally on their tailbone. Okay? What you want to do is after cleaning the area, you want to put the frankincense on the ulcer. It'll help close it up and it'll help heal the wound. Okay? Any questions on the frankincense?
You were saying before that the cassia was more for the antiseptic, but you also the frankincense. Would there be a time where you might want to put the two together?
You may, or switch, because you don't have a microscope to tell you what the microbe is that's going on. So at first, try the cassia first for an antiseptic, because it's the number one for that. And then if you see it's not really working, switch to the frankincense. Okay? Or then mix the two. Because sometimes you just want to pour like all the oils on, and that doesn't work, because you're messing all the properties up together. And just by pouring more, that's just American. God has it so it has a specific use. Your job, as we're a royal priesthood, the time of the temple, the Beit HaMikdash, was these guys were trained as doctors. So this is why the Kohen had to go out to the person who was sick and examine him. And then for leprosy. Well, why do you think they had to shave their entire body? I mean, you had to see the whole body, and that was both for men and for women. Okay, shaving that. Sorry, 70s. So they had to shave off all the hair of the body, full front and back for both male and female. You had to examine the body. So you have to see what microbe is going. Sometimes smell is going to tell you what it is. You might have to switch it too. Different viruses will have different smells. To an ulcer of some sort, if it's green or it's yellow, you might have to switch too. You have to examine. That's what they were examining. They were looking at touch, and then you have to wash your own hands. Is it sticky? Is it not so sticky? Is it runny? These are all things that you have to look at when using these oils. Okay? If the cassia is not working, then you switch to the frankincense, because it might go in a different chemistry because it's made differently. Okay, so try one, then try the other, then mix them if they're not working. You know, but
It's possible that if they have a like purpose, they may be combined.
I would go first one,
Right.
then
the other.
then
Then maybe try it out.
yeah, but try separate first because, like I said, the chemicals in it, the natural chemicals, work differently. But like I said, look at it, see the ulcer. What does it look like? What are its attributes? Touch it. Is it gooey? Is it sticky? Does it smell? Does it not smell? The first, if it's gooey, yellow, and smelly, cassia. If it's red, clear, and not smelly, frankincense. It's a different bacterium. Because the smell is really the key, because that's, and you got, so blow your nose first so you can get a good whiff.
Yep.
Okay? It will tell you a lot. Yes?
It sounds like the cassia is for the bacteria, where frankincense is more for viral.
Yeah, but it's different. The ulcer, it's saying here, is going to have similar qualities, but the stickiness is going to show you that it's got a different constitution.
Right.
If it's yellow, one, right, but then if it's green, it's a different bacteria. Okay, or like I said, if you touch it and it gets really sticky, then it's a different type of bacterium. If it's clear and it's not as sticky, then you go with the frankincense. Anyone, any questions on this one? Okay, let's go on to hyssop. That's the picture of what hyssop looks like. If you're driving along the Garden State Parkway during early summer, you will see hyssop growing in abundance. It's a weed. This thing is a weed. It grows anywhere. It grows on. If you go to the Wailing Wall in Israel, it's growing on that wall there. Okay. Yep. It's a weed, and you can cook it. You can eat it. This one tastes pretty good. Okay. If you like pizza too. Yeah, it tastes like oregano. And it says in Psalm 51, verse 7, "Purge me with hyssop, and I shall be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow." Hyssop is going to take care of 99 different problems. 99. Okay? The hyssop plant was used during the Exodus. What are we to do during Pesach, everybody? What are some of the things we got to do? Are we still to do that?
Come on.
Don't disappoint him, come on.
Yeah? Yes, God said to do this forever. Why? Your kids go, "What are you doing?" And you're going to tell them why. Okay? Yes, we are still to put the blood on our door. Why? Because God said so. Okay? So, but what you're putting it up there with what? Hyssop. Why? Because it's going to kill the bacteria. Because in the blood, what do? We pour the blood. We don't give God the blood, right? What do we do with the blood? Pour it out on the land. Why? Because it has bacteria and it has. But then you said for the best thing in the world we get to leave Egypt, you're telling us to put blood on the door. Yes, but how am I telling you to put it on the door? With your finger? No. Don't stick that up your nose again, he said. Putting it on with hyssop. Hyssop. Here, here, and here. Oh, here, here. Okay. So here, hyssop, as you see here, has antibacterial properties that make it the likely choice why Jehovah had it. One, it was readily available even in the desert. This is a hardy plant. This thing grows through anything. Okay, like I said, it's growing along the Garden State Parkway in the middle. In the summer you'll see all these oh, doesn't that look nice? Yes, it does, and it also stinks very nice too. Okay, but here it is an antibacterial, and it was in pretty much every single offering out of all the offerings in the Beit HaMikdash. Okay, in every single offering. So So God had it going into the air in a fire. Why? Well, because you're breathing it in, you're going to feel good. You know, one of the things I'll have people, like yesterday, they come into the congregation. Oh, I'm so tired. By the end of Shabbat, they're bopping around. Why? We had hyssop and frankincense and myrrh burning up front by the altar. Okay? So that everybody can hear, smell it in. So all service, you're singing and you're worshiping and you're dancing. Ah, yeah, that's great. But that's exactly what was in the temple. Why does Jehovah have it burning with every single offering? The morning bread offering, what was burning with it? Hyssop. The evening bread offering, what was burning? Hyssop. Okay? Why? Because medicine's going into the air. Okay? Supports your respiratory system. This is one of the things. If we're into August now, right? And some of you might still have your children. Do you guys go to public school? Praise God. Homeschoolers. Look, he's going to NJIT, homeschooler. Homeschoolers back there too. So you don't have to deal with much. It's just if your sister gets you sick. Don't sneeze on them anymore. Achoo! Okay. Keep your germs to yourself. The love of a sister. Okay. So, but a lot of kids that go to the public schools, and then if your colleagues, you're out working, their kids are going to public school, their kids come home, hi, Ma. You're sitting out there, you're at work, and you got your neighbor, in the next cubicle over, and you're out there smoking at their break, and then they're bringing all the bugs into you, okay? You want to have this hyssop, especially during September time, okay, when the kids are all going to school, they're snotting on each other, okay? You want to have a hyssop candle burning in your house during dinner, okay? So that you're breathing in this medicine. This one is the biggest one. As you see here, is a helpful remedy for 99 diseases. 99. Not 100. 99. One more. Can we get one more? No, the Lord said 99. Okay? So this you put on your nose. You want to breathe it in as everybody's coming in from work. Okay? You're sitting down to dinner, you want to talk about the Lord anyway. You want to have, if possible, a good half hour to an hour dinner with your family. You want to actually, you're homeschooling, so you've already been with them all day. You know what their day was like. But if you're out there, you want to, have some dinner, have the Word of God, okay? And then have this burning so that everybody's breathing it in. The candles last, I think they're 40-hour candles. And what happens is it burns down the center very nicely. And then you get a candle warmer, melt down the rest, put a new wick in, go to eBay, get the 50 new wicks for $4, okay? And then redo it, and you'll go to your art supply store and get make your new candle holders. But yeah, you can I burn down every single part of that candle, okay? So it'll burn beautifully down the center, and then you just take the rest on the candle warmer, get it from, I think we got ours from AC Moore has them. Online, I think they were $8, okay? And then you just melt it down again and put a new wick in. But it is this hyssop is referred to as the most helpful oil of them all. It treats stomach and intestine disorders because a lot of times you don't know what bacteria is growing in your tummy, okay? So maybe it was the thing I ate. What maybe it was this or anything? You don't know. So start with the hyssop and the cassia. You got an intestinal disorder, start with cassia and hyssop. Okay? As soon as you got that IBS thing going on, I've been on that can a little too much today. You want to make sure you put the hyssop and the cassia on. Okay? If you're feeling like a little bit bloated, like you're touching your stomach, you're feeling that, put this right on the stomach. Okay? You're feeling a little bloated. Okay? This one also, this is what's going on a lot in our congregation. Notice a lot. Kidney and gallbladder stones. This is also diet related. Okay? You're starting to eat biblically. It'll take a lot of it away. The stones are proteins that are bound together. What the hyssop is going to do is help the stones disappear. Didn't it? Didn't it? She had stones. She had a 4 millimeter stone, right? And what did we say? What do I do? What do I do? I'm going to have to go for surgery. Would you just put the hyssop on your... And what happened? Oh, yeah, it all passed. And we didn't have to go for surgery. She had a 4 millimeter stone that they were going to go in for surgery. Okay? What did we do? Hyssop. You know, get my bill in the mail. So here, it helps with liver diseases. Some people, there's a lot. The liver diseases, the gallbladders, the kidneys, the urinary things, these are all filtering systems of our body. Okay? The filtering systems of our body are wearing out because of the world we're living in. Okay? So especially if you know people that are smokers. Smokers, everything goes through the kidneys, the liver, and out of your urinary tract. You pee it out. Okay? So first of all, you got to stop smoking, period. Okay? You're just killing your body with that. But 2, then put the oils on the back here. That's where everything's found there. Put that there. And on the affected area. For your ladies, put it on that spot. Okay? Let it get sucked in through the vaginal area. Okay? If you're having a urinary tract infection, you want to put the hyssop oil on your vaginal area. Okay? It will get sucked up. We had another congregant member. She had 3 stones, right? A 1, a 3, and a... Yeah, it was the time I was doing the Aaronic... 3, 5, and 7. Yeah, the Aaronic benediction has 3 words, 5 words, 7 words. And I was doing a message that week on the Aaronic benediction because it has 3 words, 5 words, and 7. And she had a stone, a 3, a 5, and a 7. And what did we do? I said, well, go into the bathroom, take your finger, and put the oil right where your urine comes out. And you ladies know where that is. Men, same way. If you got a UTI, you got to put it on your penis. You got to let it get sucked in. It will go up in through your penis to where it's being infected. Because when you go, it burns, right? Or if you're having stones, you'll get a pressure. What happens is the stone hits the hole trying to get out. The liquid is trying to get out of your bladder, hits this thing, and that's the pain. Okay? So what you have to do is you got to get this oil up, up into that area. Okay? So if you have a lot of diabetics will have urinary tract infections because the sugars are coming through their bladder. Okay? And one of the things we're very blessed with, we don't have that with my wife because she's like a walking lubricant as she comes out of the bedroom. She's got all the oil on her body for all different areas. Let's put some here. Let's put some here. Let's put some here. Okay? The herb will also help you to get rid of if you got mucus going on in your lungs. Okay? It is very good for asthma. The hyssop is very good for asthma and high blood pressure. Okay, here's some of the other stuff that we spoke about. Excuse me. 3 days of talking. Okay, the hyssop, a lot of us know about having arthritis. This will help that inflammatory thing that's going on in your joints. Okay, putting it on, it's an anti-inflammatory a bit. Okay, it is a good thing. They spoke about it in the secular writings of the Epistle of Barnabas. Spoke of that the hyssop had a relief of pain. Okay, as we already spoke about, intestine disorders, diarrhea, liver diseases, and gallbladder stones. Okay. Urinary bladder diseases. This is also another big one that's going on is anemia. Anemia. A lot of people are having anemia. Okay. And a lot of people have hemorrhoids. Okay. So this will help to get those things out. But you see how it's further down on the list. Okay. Well, we start up here with the antibacterial properties and the cardiovascular. if you're having, you're retaining a lot of fluids, okay? You're having a CHF, okay? You want to start using the hyssop around your heart area. It's going to help strengthen your cardiac muscle to start pushing more blood. What happens when you're getting the CHF and, at the end of the day, you're sitting at your desk and your feet are blown up like a balloon, right? Well, that means that your heart is not working the way it used to, and it's not being able to pump the blood through the system, okay? So basically what this does is it helps to get the CHF out of your body, helps to then goes, as we said, goes to your bladder. And your bladder is pushing out all this extra water to get it out of your system. Okay? Anybody need a break? You seem to be like, Is everybody okay? Okay. Any questions on these? Any questions? Okay. That's a myrrh tree. I'm good. Yeah. It's a funky looking tree. So some of them are not plants. When I saw it, I was like, wow, that's a funky tree, man. That looks like a Dr. Seuss tree. Okay. This comes from Proverbs 7, verse 17. I have perfumed my bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. Okay. These are also some things that help if the couple is having some problems conceiving. Okay. Jehovah's the one that has it, but you see, I have perfumed my bed with myrrh. Okay? All right. You see that from the book of Esther, Hadassah, in chapter 2, verse 12, we learn that the candidates from which King Ahasuerus, Gesundheit, was to pick his queen were prepared by anointing six months of, you got it, oil of myrrh and 6 months of sweet odors. So myrrh is very good also for your skin. Okay? So here, let's go through this a little here. Myrrh. It is extremely helpful. This one is top for infected wounds and minor skin inflammations. Okay? This one's the top for that. Okay? And then the also part of that, sinus infection treatments. So if you got anybody who's having asthma, they're having COPD, they can't sleep at night, you want to make sure you put the myrrh on their body. Okay? Bronchial conditions. You see how this one, primary function is sinus infections, bronchial conditions. Asthma is one of the biggest things right now, especially in kids. You can't hurt a kid with myrrh. If it was straight myrrh, because the owner of Abba Oil, she did put the straight myrrh on her body, 100% essence, it will burn your skin, give you a second-degree burn. Okay? It needs to be packed in the olive oil. Okay? It will stop that from happening. Infected wounds is a big one. Skin inflammations, but here the myrrh, sinus infections, bronchial conditions. Okay? Especially if we get to the winter. Okay? Once things get closed up, the windows get closed up. Okay? That's when we start to get all these bronchitis type of infection, because we're breathing in, we got the windows closed at work and all this, you got the car closed up, and then you got your kid in the car who's in public school, too, and you're just breathing in all their snot. Okay? So here you want to make sure. This one is also good for if you have mouth ulcers. You know, sometimes with Obamacare, you don't get to go to the dentist. Okay? So you get these ulcers and your gum disease. This is very good. You just take it on your finger from the oil and taste that yummy yummy in your tummy. Okay? Gingivitis, inflammation of the gums and the mouth. This can be used for this. So you see it's all this upper part of your body. Okay? It's not dealing with the intestines like some of the other ones where this is dealing with your head. Okay? This is good to get rid of mucus. Instead of holding the child upside down by their legs. Okay? You put them in the room with the, come on, doesn't it? Come out. Come on out there. Come on. That's a buggies. There's a bunch of ants.
Yeah, few uncles too.
Oh, okay. All you gotta do is put bleach around the building.
Okay.
Just put the bleach around the perimeter. It'll kill the ants from coming in. Okay? All right, here are the medical properties. Okay? After 14,700 people fell dead, what did he do? He brought the myrrh out to the people. One of the highest level sesquiterpenes, okay, class of the compounds that help your brain start to release more of the stuff for your body, okay? That's what a lot of these oils do, is help your brain kick it in, okay, to start doing some more, okay? This helps, once your brain starts to kick in this melatonin, okay, it helps to get rid of the infections more, because this part of your brain is sending it to the cells, okay? Once your cells start kicking in and your brain starts kicking in, then the rest of the other systems in your body start kicking in, okay? It is an anti-infectious, but it is more respiratory related, antiviral, okay? Hormone-like. This one is also very good. Sometimes with you ladies going through what some people call the vapors or the changes, okay? This one will help to offset some of those things, okay? The hormones that are being lost out of your body and changing because, you know, you have no more eggs being being released, okay? And sometimes a lot of people go through the changes for a number of years. Yes, number of years, okay? Here somebody was talking about their thyroid. Somebody was having a thyroid problem. You might want to put the myrrh on the thyroid here because this helps to support that system. The thyroid system, it's an anti-hyperthyroid. Okay, so if you're having a hyperthyroid, you want to do this too. Okay? Hypo is less. Hyper is you got too much being released. This will help if you're hyper, if it's releasing too much, okay, of this particular oil, okay? Let's see what else here. This does help with your skin, okay? Stretch marks and things like that, and skin cancers. Thrush, okay? The ladies, listen to this closely, because this helps you with vaginal type of problems. Thrush, ulcers, vaginal thrush, and viral herpes, okay? These are a lot of the diseases that are going on, especially once you get a little bit older. You're producing a less of the ladies type of things in your body, and you'll get more ulcers, especially if you're still married and you're still active, okay? Sometimes you get the ulcers that are that, and this will help with those, this particular oil will help for those problems. Spikenard. This one is the most expensive one you can get, but it is exceptional for pain relief. It is exceptional for pain relief. This is what Dr. Mark in our congregation, this is what he puts on. He just asked me to order him a large bottle because he works in the city of Patterson at a trauma center. So let's just say things are escalating down there. So he puts people back together. He does torso. So when people are getting shot, you know, in Patterson, he's the one who's putting them back together. Okay, so he puts the spikenard on his feet, on his knees, on his hips prior to going into surgery, and it also smells good, and it is the scent of the bridegroom. Okay, let me just move on to here. The spikenard is an antibacterial. Okay, this is another antibacterial, antifungal, but most of all, it's an anti-inflammatory. Okay, this one is exceptional. If you got some sort of rheumatoid arthritis going on, you want to put this on your body. As my wife had the problems the other day, we put the henna on her body and the spikenard, and it did tend to take things down at least a notch or two. Okay, okay, so it does, and you also have to rest. If you're having a pain, there's a reason. Okay, God might want you to stop a little bit, okay? But if you have to keep going, the natural thing, instead of taking Motrin or Aleve, because what Motrin and Aleve are doing is killing your kidneys and your liver, okay? Because you can't take it for a long time, and it'll also kill your stomach. But spikenard will not. And for the husbands, it'll make you smell nice, okay? It won't be as good, huh? Well, you have a different one. You got the lilies of the valley and the rose of Sharon. But the men, it's a man scent that you see in the Song of Solomon prior to marital relations. He was with the spikenard, okay? The whole jumping gazelle part of the Song of Solomon. Okay? As it says here, it's highly regarded as a perfume in India. Okay? Well, there's other things in India. There's wacky stuff going on there. I came home smelling like, their stuff. I was in India also. Calcutta, fascinating city. You can't look out your window when you're driving. These people you think they're bad in New York? That's where they learned, Calcutta. Okay? If you're having an allergic reaction to something on your skin, this is very good for that. And it is really good for skin cancers. Listen well. Good for skin cancers. Okay? A lot of people, what we've been seeing lately, have had a lot of migraines. Okay? The migraines come from a tension headache or something like that. So what you do, find out where the tension is. You'll put we didn't get the henna yet. You'll put the henna on, like say you pulled something in your shoulder, or you're like this at work all day long, and then you come home and you can't put your shoulders down, and then you got this tension headache. You want to put the henna and the spikenard together on your neck, and it'll release it, and it'll get rid of the migraine that you're having. What happens also when you're having migraines, you get nausea. A lot of times when you're having a migraine, okay? So this will help to settle both of them down, and you won't have a side effect. Okay? If you're having tachycardia, that means you're having a fast heart rate, put this stuff right on your heart. It'll slow it down. A lot of people take a lot of medicines for tachycardia now. Okay? A lot of medicines that also will kill your kidneys and your liver and all that type of stuff. Okay? This will not. Rose of Sharon. We're almost done. Another about 15 minutes we'll be done. Okay? This is the Rose of Sharon. It's a very beautiful flower. It takes a lot of these petals to get the oil. We're talking thousands and thousands and thousands of petals to get the Rose of Sharon. Okay? The Rose of Sharon is very good for cell regeneration. You've gone through some surgery. You've gone through an injury. And you got massive cuts on your body or some sort of surgical site. After, they take the stitches out or something, you want to rejuvenate these cells. You don't want to have a scar or something of that nature. So here, you want to do this to rejuvenate the skin cells. This one's good, and it also makes you smell very nice, ladies. Okay? The medical properties of this is an anti-infectious, antiviral, antibacterial, anti-hemorrhagic. Okay? So you see what this is doing. This particular one, the Rose of Sharon. This one, as you see here, for your nervous system. Okay? There's a lot of different mental disorders, a lot of nervous system type of things that are going on. This one has a very specific use for the nervous system and an immune stimulant. This one will stimulate your nervous system to start. Okay? This one is also good. The essence, in biblical times, the shepherds, they used to be out there with the sheep far away from their homes. They couldn't go to their local CVS to go get a thing when they got a cut. The gum from the Rose of Sharon will be a very good thing to put on a wound. Okay? Put on a wound. The world goes crazy. We can't go get Band-Aids or Cling or 2x2s or 4x4s. What you want to do is, if you can get this essence, you can make a gum that'll close up or cover the wound. Okay? This one, the Rose of Sharon, as you see here, one of the top things is about the bronchitis and respiratory infections. First is the myrrh, then the Rose of Sharon is secondary to that. Okay? You see how it's got all these different things. The coughs. Okay? All these things right here, these first ones here. That's where it does most excellent work. And then we go to the pomegranate oil. Okay? The pomegranate oil. It doesn't have 613 seeds. My son Tristan in the back there, we cut a pomegranate open. It did not have 613 seeds for the 613 laws. Okay? So he sat there and counted it. Okay? Yeah, it does. Yeah. Yeah, it had less. It's just like, yeah, it's like, guys. That's Talmud for you. Okay. This one is extraordinary for cancer. You have anybody has any type of cancer, start getting pomegranate juice. Pomegranate itself, natural. Pomegranate oil. Find out where the tumor is. Put the oil right above that area. If they got a tumor, wherever, tumor in their arm, tumor in their leg, put the oil directly on the tumor. Let it seep in. This is something that the drug companies are hiding highly because there's too much money involved in it. It's just like diabetes. For juvenile diabetics like my wife, they have a cure already. The study was done in the late 1980s. They put islet cells into the pancreas and it rejuvenated it. 100% of the people that got it were cured. There's too much money involved because we live in a world when evil is called good and good is called evil. This one, we have seen, like I said, they were going in for surgery. Somebody had lesions on the brain. They put the pomegranate oil. They could not believe the CT scan right before the surgery. And they had a CT scan the night before. Okay? The surgeon wanted another CT scan. Why? No, he wanted it before he went in. He shouldn't have. But he said, let's send her for another CT scan. Gone. All the lesions were gone. And as the person had promised, this is the sad part, the person had promised to come to Shabbat with their family. Reneged. You know what happened? They all came back. Don't mess with the king. You make a promise, do not lie. Do not lie to the God. God, do not do it. He will bring it back times more.
Yeah, I had a friend of mine when I was in the Navy. His mother had cancer, and the rest of his family were believers. They were praying around her. Cancer kept going. He tried to change his heart over to God, started praying, cancer went away. 6 months later, he went back to his old ways. He was dead within 2 weeks.
Yep. I'm telling you, these oils work, everybody, but it has to be with a relationship with the King of Kings. You can't play with him. He might let you live, but you don't want to live that way. Okay? So for this, you have any type of cancer, breast cancer. Okay? It's a good job for you husbands. Rub it on. Okay? To the ladies if they get pregnant. Make sure you're checking on a weekly basis at minimum. Okay? It's part of your job as a husband. Do your job, men. Okay? It has been proven with this study, it kills the tumors in totality. Okay? With a relationship with the Lord. Okay? It takes away the cancer, takes away the tumor, resets the blood cells. Okay? And this is, like I said, this is a longer treatment. This isn't 3 times a day for 7 days. This is for much longer. Okay? Because it takes a while for the tumor to grow, unless you men are doing your job. Do your job. Make sure to do it on maybe a daily basis. It's a good thing. Okay? But you do it, make sure. And ladies, if you don't have husbands, make sure you're checking, especially if you have cancer in your family. It is a generational curse. Okay? Make sure you're checking. Okay? Because as soon as you catch it, put the oil on it. Okay? Make sure, because you know what they are supposed to feel like and what they're not supposed to feel like. Okay? Make sure you're checking. Okay? There was another study done by the University of Michigan that proved that the pomegranate oil worked in totality. Okay, medical properties of the pomegranate oil. It has something called an antioxidant. I'm sure you've heard that buzzword. Well, you know, Jehovah had it way before Novartis did. Okay. So get the juices. Most of all, get the pomegranate itself. Get the natural. Eat it yourself. Cut it yourself. Pray yourself. Eat it, eat it, eat it. And actually, one of the great fruits, pomegranate is a wonderful fruit to eat. And yes, you can eat all the little things. You can eat the seed. And actually, it's very good to eat those seeds because there's the DNA in the seed that is something that God wants you to have. It does have a great healing properties of this. And there's another thing. We haven't had too much testimony of this. Ladies that are going through menopause, it helped to ease the symptoms greatly. Okay? Those hot flashes, those cold flashes, hot flashes, fan on, fan off, fan on, fan off, fan on, fan off. Okay? It helps to ease the symptoms with menopause. Henna. This is a powerful, powerful oil. It's if you're having any sort of muscle, you know, like cramps in your neck and things like that, all you need is 1 finger worth. Put it on the tip of your finger, rub it in. I've had this happen because somebody had hit me in the rear of the car a bunch of years ago. Every now and then I get a twinge in one of my C-spine here, and there's nothing that takes it away. Put the henna on it, 10 minutes, gone. It really releases the pressure and it brings the inflammation way down. Okay? Henna is phenomenal to have. Okay? If you're having asthmatic bronchitis, this is excellent to have the henna oil. If you're having kidney congestion, or say you're coming off alcohol, okay, this one is very good for those family members that are alcoholics, that are giving their life to the Lord and they're getting away from it. It'll help to take away the alcohol intoxication that's going on in the kidney. This also helps for low blood pressure. There are some people who have actual low blood pressure. This will help to bring it up. Okay? If you're having a GI problem, take the henna. That's when my 2 sons and my wife were sick. We added the henna to the cassia, and it took away the symptoms over their abdomen. Okay? And henna is good for an antifungal for fingernails. Sometimes toenails too. A lot of you ladies I see like to wear the open-toed shoes, and sometimes you get the fungus in your toes. It's very good for an antifungal in those nail beds. I have found the henna just works mostly great with muscle spasms. Really good with that. It has some other areas. It is good for a sedative. It does help relax. Yes, sir?
If somebody was going to find out they were going to go on dialysis, would that help them?
Dialysis. Well, dialysis, you got to have all the ones that are dealing with the filtering systems of the body, kidney, liver, because what's happening with dialysis is you're having too much ammonia into your body because your kidneys and livers are not taking out the toxin in the blood system. So you have to figure out what's causing it. First of all, make sure they're keeping kosher, first and foremost. Dialysis, I would go with frankincense and myrrh. This one's not really good. The henna on that, I would probably go with the cassia and hyssop together, first and foremost, rubbing that on the kidneys and the livers, okay, if they're going to go on dialysis. And also make sure that, one, they would do a fast, first and foremost, maybe a Daniel 21-day fast if possible, taking all the stuff out of the system, because what happens when you do a fast, it'll use up all the garbage that is in the kidney and the liver, using up all those proteins first, getting all that stuff out of the body, and then come back from the 21-day fast and then start using, while doing that, using the oils, and then make sure you're eating biblically kosher, not rabbinically kosher. You can have a cheeseburger. If you're having a lamb cheeseburger, then it's a different story. Goat milk cheese, yes. I think this is the last one, the lily of the valley. Okay, the lily of the valley, this is also another good one for skin disorders. Okay, lily of the valley. This also helps because of the skin and the muscles of your heart, are that it'll help to regulate your heart rate, the lily of the valley. Okay? This also helps to oxygenate your body and oxygenate the oxygen required for your heart muscle. Okay? So this is also good. Put it on your neck, and ladies, you will stink nice. The natural perfumes of God are good. If you're using the perfumes of the world, you're doing something that is not good. Okay? Because basically you're putting a scent out to a man, as an animal does, to invite relations. With the oils of God, that doesn't do that. Okay? That's why obsession costs so much. There's a certain thing that's attracting the opposite sex in the perfume. Okay? And some of the medical properties of this, the lily of the valley is good for your hypertensive people. Okay? And it'll also attract your wonderful young husband there. Okay. People that are having seizures. What happens with seizures is the left side of your brain and the right side of your brain are not talking well. And what's going on is there's little tracks are going all messed up. Putting this on this for people that are having seizures, rub it into your scalp. Also the pomegranate. Rub the pomegranate into your scalp. I forgot to say that with the pomegranate. If you have people that are having Alzheimer's or stuff of that nature, rub the pomegranate into your scalp. It'll get to your brain. It'll seep through that rock between the outside and the inside. Okay? And the lily of the valley is used, it's recommended for strengthening brain work. Okay? So if you're having sometimers disease, like I've had a little bit today, sometimers disease, okay? Okay, men, it's going to make you smell a little feminine like you're from San Francisco, but you got to deal with it. All right, and there's all the references of what we did.
Shalom, this is Messianic Rabbi Andrew Dinnerman. I would personally like to thank you for tuning in to the Remnant's Call each and every week. You can listen to the full message on our website, bethgoyim.org. If you have drawn closer to the King of Kings, learned more about Him today, we are blessed. If you are blessed by these messages, please consider a donation to our ministry. You can go to our website, bethgoyim.org. That's BETHGOYIM.org. And click on the donate button. You do not have to have a PayPal account to donate. All you need is a debit card. Once again, thank you very much for listening to The Remnant's Call.
If you have not taken your first steps to be born again, just ask God's help. Remember, it's His loving grace that has come to find you. No one is worthy or able to reach God, but God can reach us, and He's reaching out to you now. Just open your heart and let Him in. His arms are open, and the blessing of salvation and eternal life are waiting for you. Don't let it wait any longer.
Ya Adonai, panavoleka, vikuneka, Yisa Adonai, panavoleka, vayasem lecha, shalom.
May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord lift his face to shine upon you. May the Lord be gracious unto you and give you his shalom. Shalom. My name is Messianic Rabbi Andrew Dinnerman, and I invite you to come to visit our congregation. If you are in the tri-state area, come out and visit with us on Shabbat. We are a congregation of Jews and Gentiles, living as one in the Messiah Yeshua. BGMC is a place of true worship. The focus never wanders from the Hebraic roots of our faith. Beth Goyim is rooted in the Word of God from Bereshit through to the book of Revelation. Messiah's strong words against man-made tradition are carefully recorded in Matthew 7. That is the reason we only follow the straight-up instructions found in Scripture. Truly, the way, the truth, and the life. If you're looking for a deeper walk with Adonai, come out for our Tuesday evening Bible study called Messianic Torah Time. Come, spend a day with us on any Shabbat. We start at 11 a.m. with the sound of the ancient Hebrew shofar. Next, we offer our King praise and worship in English, Hebrew, and Spanish. After worship, we review the headlines in the previous week's news from around the globe, especially news from the Holy Land, Israel. We don't just list the news headlines as current events, but we comb through the scriptures, searching for clues to understand what they mean and then to help pinpoint prophetically our current position on Adonai's clock. After digesting all that modern information, we leave the world behind as we journey with our Adonai deep into his eternal word, not with just one or two scriptures, but usually 7 or more scriptures. The spiritual nourishment and the richness of his kingdom become accessible to the ones who share this special time and seek them out. The day does not end there. Because Shabbat is so special to him, there is always so much more that our King desires to share. So instead of separating and leaving, we stay together as a family for potluck lunch and an afternoon study of our King's Word. We close the Shabbat together with the reading of the new week's parashah. That's the Torah portion. Even after those blessings, many of us just can't get enough. So the members bring prepared homemade foods to share while we all enjoy an uplifting movie together. If all that information is not quite enough, you can check out our website where you will find over 200 video teachings and biblical holy day studies. Under Messianic Torah Time, the Hebrew Roots button, you'll discover free studies on many, many different topics, including PowerPoint slide presentations. If Beth Goyim sounds like a place you'd love to visit, but you live outside the tri-state area, there is still a way to connect with us. We stream live on the internet on Tuesday, Thursday, and Shabbat. The website is www.bethgoyim.org. That's BETHGOYIM.org. Our phone number is 973-338-7800 or 978-2-YESHUA. That's 978, the number 2, Yeshua. Shalom.